Omega Heating and Cooling Weather Desk. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 78 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Brought to you by USPS Ground Advantage.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast.
Pump up the volume.
When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Welcome in on a cloudy, breezy, tarps off Monday here in the city of St. Louis. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores with you. As always, you can listen to us on the Odyssey app. Take us with you wherever you go. If you're listening on 1120 a.m., well, what are you doing? Listen on 104.1 FM, crystal clear. If you miss anything, you can listen to the show on the Chris and Amy Show podcast. Listen to it twice. When you're done, just, subscribe to the Chris and Amy Show and listen to it again in case you missed anything, any witty, clever banter.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends to listen to the Chris and Amy Show. You know who did tell his friend? Pensacola Jones, who texts in. He's been telling his friends to listen to the show.
I swear he better.
Be like Pensacola Jones.
That's right.
Well, I guess we better get into it because we all know what the top story is today.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
Tarps off, baby, at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals win the series against the Kansas City Royals, and the Stephen F. Austin Club baseball team, Ranj, they got something going in right field.
Well, I'm telling you something. That was as fun as it gets. And you better get your tarps on if it's raining in St. Louis. Also, the United Way has announced United for Storm Recovery and Funding. We're going to talk to Regina Greer, Chief Impact Officer with United Way of Greater St. Louis. That is at 9:30.
And maybe the kids are all right after all, Ranj, because another AI-positive commencement speech, this one from the former CEO of Google, gets booed by students, this time at the University of Arizona. It's a beautiful thing. Well,
it makes me, I'm telling you, it warms my heart, and I cannot wait to talk about it later on.
Yeah, it's pretty, it gives me hope for the future.
Thank you, Ollie cheer. Thank you, Ollie. I can hear it all the way up in the booth. And Ollie acknowledges him. This is great.
Of course, that is the chance coming from right field from the Stephen F. Austin Club baseball team, the Tarps Off crew that, Ranj, this is going national. So I'm assuming that not only did you see it because of your Cardinals feed, but being in Washington, D.C. over the weekend, it made its way to the East Coast pretty quickly, too. Just how this club baseball team transformed Busch Stadium into a rollicking, swashbuckling atmosphere, which, you know what it felt like? The Cardinals had their own student section. That's what it felt like, and man, oh man, I loved it. How can we? It was amazing.
So it feels like my first thought was in the final days in Oakland, and actually before that,
yeah,
A's fans are kind of insane. You know, the Oakland A's fans, I don't know what the Sacramento/Vegas A's are going to be like, but the Oakland fan base, they were really into it. And you'd be out in right field and a bunch of guys either have their shirts off and they're yelling at the right fielder the whole time. That was a lot of fun, right? It kind of felt like that. And yeah, I'm so happy something like that happened at Busch Stadium, given the last couple of years, right? It's been a little, not just in terms of the size of the crowds that have been there or lack of size.
Yeah.
But maybe the intensity of the crowds. And Busch Stadium is usually more of a family crowd than it is a large group of 20 or 30 somethings with their shirts off and drinking a bunch of beer and having a good time.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's really not
polite.
The crowd.
We're pretty polite. We're passionate but subdued, if that makes sense. We're not, the Boston crowd. So I I mean, most people, I'm sure you know the story, but just in case you didn't, the Stephen F. Austin club baseball team, not even a university team, but a club baseball team, student organized, is in town to play in Alton in the Club Baseball World Series. And they decide, kind of on a whim, to go to the baseball game on Friday night. And so they go after their game is completed. This club baseball team goes to the baseball game on Friday night. And they said they had seen in other college sports where people take their shirts off, right? Tarps off, get the crowd going. They decided to do it, but then they also saw the whole empty section in right field and I guess kind of moved their group to that empty section in right field and did the whole tarps off thing, and it kept growing. They started chanting. It felt like a soccer game, singing Olay. They did roll call, which I guess they'll do in Yankee Stadium sometimes, but they did a roll call.
Yeah.
And I think Ackerman said the last two players to acknowledge the roll call, when you do that, you chant somebody's name, right? You go through the entire
team. You
team.
chant the name until they acknowledge you.
Until they acknowledge you. And Mason Wynn and Jordan Walker acknowledged him. And I think Ackerman said the last two were Kyle Leahy and I think Pedro Pages. And Ackerman said he thought he saw Pages at one point kind of salute, right? Kind of say, hey, I see you. Leahy obviously was focusing, but they got everyone to join in on this roll call. And obviously, I like to think that they sparked the extra innings walk-off win on Friday night. And then Ali Marmol bought 1,000 tickets for Saturday's game and Sunday's game because he said, thank you to the crew that did this. We got to get the tarps off crowd back.
It's pretty cool. And it's cool that, first of all, that it happened. Okay. Something that it's an atmosphere that usually isn't, and I'm not saying that it doesn't get exciting at Busch Stadium, but that very specific kind of energy doesn't really happen at that ballpark. That's a very specific thing. It doesn't, Busch Stadium isn't for that typically. That feels more like bleachers at Wrigley Field kind of thing, right? Which is great. So that is very cool that it happened. It's amazing that the manager, first thing he did was acknowledge those guys.
Right.
And that really put him into a very good place with people around baseball because, as you mentioned earlier, it got a lot of coverage everywhere, not just with the national traditional media, but you had podcasters and influencers and guys like John Boy. I think people know about, if you're a baseball fan or a sports fan, you know about John Boy, who does the breakdowns of lip reading, and those are really, really good videos. He embraced it. He put it up on his socials account. So that I think just the fact this happened and everybody got behind it, and I haven't heard anyone complain about it. That's the best part. It was such a cool thing.
Yes, and it was so organic. And Ranj, I am telling you, inject this straight into my veins. Sometimes I just feel so fatigued. And the thing is, I feel like I used to be excited about things and passionate, and life and the news and everything kind of makes you feel like you're slogging through the day. And then you see this enthusiasm of youth, and you just see how into it they were. These guys, I looked at the roster. These guys are, they're obviously all from Texas. Probably a lot of them are Houston Astros fans, you would assume, maybe because the college is just north of Houston. But listen to Victor Scott after the game. I think this was the Friday night game, Matt, or Saturday.
This was from May 16th, and that was Saturday's game.
Saturday's game. Victor Scott talking with our own Mike Claiborne after the game.
Our player of the game this afternoon, Victor Scott, 2 hits on the day. Is the tarp coming off here too?
You know it. Tarp got to come off, baby. Yeah, sir.
How much fun is that to have these guys showing up with the support they've shown?
I was telling everybody in the dugout, it feels like a college football game out here, man. I love this atmosphere.
And you had a couple of hits today as well. This offense seems to really be clicking. Everybody in the order, whether it's the bottom or the top, everybody finds a way to contribute every day.
Yeah, no doubt. This team is super relentless, man, and I don't even know what to say, man. Them boys up there are turning it up, baby. Yeah.
Isn't that awesome? I mean,
them boys up there turning it up.
And then, of course, as we all know, after the game on Saturday, Ali Marmol invited the Stephen F. Austin Baseball Club into the clubhouse, where They
What's
went
the
tarps
Stephen A.
off.
Austin? Is that
I
are they just
know.
shouting a lot?
Stephen F. Austin. They took their tarps off in the clubhouse, and some of the Cardinals joined in. And what a fun experience! And it was so organic, and it just felt like so pure and fun.
Do you know? I'm watching the game yesterday, and it's late. They're down 2-0. Cardinals ended up losing that game, but how amazing it would have been if they came back and won with all those guys again. Now, the Stephen F. Austin team was not there because they had a game.
Yeah.
So there were other people out there filling the gap. And it would have been really something special if they came back and won that game yesterday. I was rooting for it. Them boys up there.
It's so
good, man.
It's so
Everything
true.
about it is great.
I do think the Lumberjacks, the SFA Lumberjacks, I think they got walloped yesterday, which is kind of a bummer for them.
Yeah.
But,
we were going to talk to one of the players today.
Yeah.
And because they lost, their schedules changed. So well, we're gonna have him on the show soon.
And I know that there were some pictures. Joe Roderick posted a picture of Cardinals fans who returned the favor by showing up to the SFA Club Baseball World Series game in Alton, which is pretty fun.
That's really great.
There's so much here, Ron. I know we want to hear from you today because I'm sure you have a lot to say about it. 314-436-7900. 314-436-7900. You can call us. You can text us. We want to hear from you because, a couple of different angles from this weekend, especially, I think, how do you keep it going? That's something we want to talk about today because part of what made it so special was how organic, spontaneous it was. I had some friends who had their sons at the baseball game on Friday night, and their sons are like, say, 13, 15 years old, and they saw in right field the tarps off crowd, and they're like, Dad, we want to go up there. So they ran up to that section, and a couple of these teenage boys joined in. How fun is that? I mean, that's a lifelong experience for them. I mean,
we're going to join in on this show today, too.
You what? Oh, yes.
We're going
you
tarps
are.
off on the show today. So you're going to have to watch us on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. We are at Chris Amy KMOX on Twitter. Go follow us and then watch it. We're going tarps off.
Yeah.
I might go bottoms off.
No, you can't. No, it's not the same, Ronch. It's not the same.
Well, it's not the same. I think it's a little more, might be a little more fun.
For who?
Hey, you calm down over there. You stop it.
All right. 314-436-7900. The tarps off conversation continues on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Just a reminder to have your air conditioner checked for the summer so you don't have a mishap and it goes down in the hottest day of the year. But it's always best to have it done. Call us and we'll be more than happy to come out there and check it for you. And like always, if you're having your furnace checked by another company and you are told that this is the year you need to replace it, call me for a second opinion. The 0% interest is still available on most brands. Save your cash and keep your credit cards open and away from those high rates. Call me. You'll be glad you did. Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest. It is 314-293-2600 or on the website bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
What's up? It's Draymond Green. I'm back for my 14th NBA season, and my podcast, The Draymond Green Show, is back too. This season, I'm breaking down games, reacting to the biggest NBA stories, and sitting down with teammates, rivals, and culture shapers. And trust me, I'm not holding back, on the court or on the mic. 2 new episodes every week. New segments, big conversations, real basketball talk for the real hoop heads. Listen to and follow The Draymond Green Show wherever you get your podcasts. We're back, we're better, let's get it.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
A century strong. The voice of St. Louis. KMOX.
No, it was a really good time. It was fun for a lot of reasons. Obviously, we played good baseball. We did some really good things on the field, but to engage with the fan base the way we did yesterday was so much fun.
Whoever started that in right field, I'll do whatever I need to do to make sure they come every game, because that was awesome. Not only them, but everybody that showed up today. That was a fun environment. Go ahead.
You guys could feel that from the...
Are you kidding me? Yeah, you can feel it, man. It's awesome, and it creates an environment where it's not only filling this place up, it's making it a tough place for other teams to come in and play.
Love it. Cardinals manager Ali Marmol after the Tarps Off crew rallied your St. Louis Cardinals to a series win against the Kansas City Royals this weekend. And again, we want to hear from you because what a fun weekend it was. And as we get into that conversation about how do the Cardinals keep this going and, what was this phenomenon that took over, let's jump over to Kent, who is on the line. Kent wanted to call in. I think he was at the game with your grandkids.
Good morning. Yes, we took our young granddaughters to their first baseball game, and it was certainly an exciting game, but we watched that crowd grow in right field, which it did grow, and it was so much fun. It got everybody into it. The girls are still talking about it. They talked about it all weekend, and it was just a fun experience.
That's awesome.
Take your shirt off.
This made it even better.
Kent, did you go take your shirt off?
I did not. No.
Okay.
Sorry.
Did you think about it?
Yeah, I thought about it, but I thought better of it also.
Thanks, Kent. Hey, that's awesome. I mean, you're creating Cardinals fans for life. I believe it was my friend's son's first Cardinals game, too. So imagine you're a kid, and that's the first game you go to.
So here's the, I don't want to call it a problem.
All right.
But here's the task.
Okay.
We have to make sure it continues.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that's your first experience at a Cardinals game, just like if you grew up and you were 6, 7, 8 years old and they're going to the World Series every couple of years, and you assume that's how it always is. We now have to figure out a way to keep it going. This should be easier than going to the World Series every other year. It should be easy enough to find 30 dudes to be in right field and take their shirts off. It could be young dudes. It could be men in their 50s. It could be men in their 80s. It could be Kent.
Or women.
Kent. Okay.
We did talk about this because I do think
I
not
have
gonna
no problem with it.
I think ladies could join in. I mean, if you have a
Sports bra.
that or a swimsuit top, are you allowed to do that at Busch Stadium? I know there's like Bleacher Hoosiers and other stadiums where everyone's, got their shirts
So
on.
you're telling me the ladies at the Cubs game who have their bathing suits on, those are Hoosiers?
Well, up until
At
this
Wrigley Field?
Up until this weekend, I might have classified them as that. But what if you want to get in the tarps off? You want to get involved with the tarps off crew and you're a lady, I think you could do that. I mean, you could also just bring an extra shirt or whatever.
Just no nipples.
Oh my gosh,
because you'll get in trouble.
You
get
will.
in trouble. Well, I'm just saying
What
you'll
if
get
you
in
wore a
trouble. I'm not saying
tan
it's right. A what shirt?
What if a tan shirt, or what if you wore one of those shirts that were really big in the 90s that had the fake chest on them?
Okay, I think that could be considered obscene.
No, it's a guy's chest.
Oh, the guy's chest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever you want to do.
At any rate,
I mean, Amy, when this was happening, I was thinking this is so fun.
Yeah.
The fact they embraced it, and then they Ollie went and bought all those tickets.
Yeah.
And my next thought was, we have got to find a way to make this happen every day. Here's the problem with baseball, though. It's every day.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult to keep that momentum up. It's one thing if it's football and you have a football game once a week for 3 hours, right? I mean, you can have a group of people that are taking their shirts off and getting wild for those 3 hours. It's a lot tougher to do it every single day they play. So how do we do it? Do we have to continue to give away free tickets? Because that's what happened on Saturday, is that if you went to the Cardinals website to get tickets for that section, there were a certain amount, and it literally said $0. And once they were gone, they were all gone. Do we have, like one of our texters, Judy, suggested, should we have local businesses sponsor that every day?
Yeah.
Maybe a local business does say, I'm going to buy out 20 or 30 seats in right field, and the first 30 people willing to take their shirts off can go sit in that section every night.
So here's the thing. I do think a big part of this is youth. Because remember, these guys were from out of town, right? And you got to have the zany enthusiasm of youth. And it felt like a student section. It felt like when I went to the Billikens game and you have the student section and they're just, rollicking. Like I said, swashbuckling fans. It was so much fun that how do you get that student section feel? And how do you lean into the students where it is, you somehow market it to get the young people in that section? Because I also think these guys from this club baseball team, Ron, are only a couple of years younger than the average age of the Cardinals. I think one reason why this Tarps Off crew resonated so much with Ollie and the team is because this team is so young. I'm not saying it wouldn't have been special last year, but I don't think it would have resonated quite as much as it has with this young team that is playing the way it is, that is defying expectations.
You're right. The thing about young people is that they are more likely to want to do it. I don't think it necessarily has to be young people to resonate with a crowd. And I say that because I think of the Bulls. I don't know if they still do it, the Chicago Bulls. They have their dance team. They call the Lovables, the female dancers. They also either do, they definitely used to. I don't know if they still do, but they had a group of fat guys that would go out and dance, and they were called the Matadors.
Okay.
and people loved it. And so if you got a section of bigger dudes out there, that would be fun too. It's just it doesn't need to be youth. It just needs to be energetic, and it needs to be fun.
We're gonna have
if there's a way to make that happen, it doesn't matter what the crowd is. We just have to find a way to keep it going.
Yes, and we're going to continue talking about this. One texter does bring up maybe it's more sustainable if it's Friday and Saturdays. it's tarps off weekends. That might be more sustainable than trying to do it during the weekdays.
Yeah, maybe.
And
a friend of mine just texted me and said, what about a tarps off cam? So you go around the crowd and you have to take your shirt off if the camera's on you, and the camera doesn't leave until you take your shirt off.
Okay, this is
You're guilted into tarps off.
This is a great idea. All right, the conversation will continue throughout the show, but in just a couple of minutes, we're going to chat with Regina Greer. She's the Chief Impact Officer with United Way of Greater St. Louis, because the United Way has announced United for Storm Recovery, which is an additional funding and investment to meet unmet needs after the tornado. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
All Access with Ollie Marmol on the Gas House Gang.
I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group. This group fits my personality to a T. I love what we're doing. I love how we're going about it. I love the honest conversations. I love the grit. And there's been certain times where I've caught myself where bases are loaded, our back's up against the wall, and I can't help but smile. I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group.
Ollie Marmol, Tuesdays at noon on KMOX.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com. Oh, I'm ready! And get ready for the workday.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Well, it's 79 degrees, but it is starting to get dark out there outside Studio B. Cloudy, windy. Could be some heavy thunderstorms today and localized damaging wind gusts. So we'll keep an eye on the weather. A high of 80. Tonight, mostly cloudy, warm and humid. Maybe some strong late-night thunderstorms. A low just 71. Weather sponsored by Artistic Decks.
This Memorial Day, Artistic Decks is honoring the season with rollback pricing. Precision craftsmanship meets old school American value to help you save big. Quality you can trust. Call 314-280-0821. Artistic Decks, making dreams affordable.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
With summer here and the kids home full time, your garage door will see a lot more use. Do it a favor with annual maintenance from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The 26-point tune-up is one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Get them all done. Trusted in St. Louis for 100 years. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Since 1926, they're never going to steer you wrong. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Norr Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark scores. We are attempting to connect with Regina Greer, the Chief Impact Officer with United Way of Greater St. Louis, because the United Way has announced United for Storm Recovery. That's an additional $1.3 million investment to target unmet needs and long-term community resiliency in the area affected by the tornado. That also includes $100,000 to the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis Recovery Center. We've talked about the great work that the Urban League is doing. And we have Regina joining us now. Regina, great to talk to you this morning.
Good morning. Great to talk to you as well.
So with this new announcement of the funding, the additional funding for storm recovery, what can you tell people about it on how it came about and how it will be directed?
Sure. So the funds came about because of our fundraising efforts after the storm. United Way is always with the community, and in times of, I call it blue skies and crisis, we have several, community members, donors, et cetera, who step up. And so these funds that we are deploying now, they are part of United for Storm Recovery. It's an additional targeted investment of the $1.3 million that you mentioned, to be able to help with ongoing and emerging needs 1 year after the storm. So we have a keen focus on unmet needs and those agencies who can help to support them.
What are some of the critical unmet needs?
So some of the critical unmet needs that we see, after this have to do with housing, appliances. Folks still need beds. They still need items which help to bring them to safe, sanitary, secure, and making sure that they're stable. So anything that we can do in terms of helping them to get back on their feet, back into a stable environment. The other thing that we're also seeing are still a need for food, household goods, anything that is affecting a family's ability to get back on track after the storm.
We knew that this was going to be a long recovery, and even in the immediate aftermath of it, we talked about that a lot, that this was going to take time, and that it's the kind of thing that people think about in the first couple of weeks and then slowly it fades out of the consciousness. Do you feel like St. Louis generally is still invested, or is there a lack of that right now 1 year later?
My opinion, St. Louis is very well invested. I think that the known impact of the storm is still there and it's still evident. That doesn't mean that we don't keep having opportunities like this, right, to talk about where the needs still are, because there are still needs. And you are so right that while the storm can take just a few minutes to do its damage, it takes a very long time to recover from it. So I absolutely believe that St. Louis is still invested, but I do think we have to keep the narrative out front.
You mentioned that the money includes an additional $100,000 in investment for Home Sweet Home, which helps address critical gaps in beds and household goods. But when you say beds, is that like a literal physical bed, or is it a place for people to stay?
We're talking literal physical beds. So in order for folks to, rebuild their lives and imagine getting back into a stable environment, do they have the proper places to lay their heads, right? Furniture, household goods, washer and dryer, all of those things that we, depend on every single day. These folks are going to need, the survivors need these things also to return to a stable environment.
Regina, approximately how many people are still in dire need from the storms that happened a year ago?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm going to say, if I think about the disaster case management numbers that we have, we're still looking, probably around 1,000 or so people, but I don't want to give you an actual answer because we're going by folks who have registered for case management and a number of things there. So we still know that there are many people, though, who are in need.
I know we've been looking at the way different funds are allocated. For instance, a lot of FEMA funds go to temporary relief like debris removal, but don't necessarily go to long-lasting permanent relief like rebuilding community. With this money is focused on the rebuilding, the lasting help, not just debris removal, which we still need, but it's also going to help rebuild those neighborhoods. Would that be a correct categorization?
I would say it goes to rebuilding lives, right? So there are different pots and funds of money that are allocated for different things. The dollars that we are pushing into the community are going toward rebuilding their lives. And so they're used to support those other dollars that have come through for property, assistance, debris removal, and a number of things. But as we're looking at these folks and the people who need the assistance from the unmet need category, is really about getting the individual families, back to stability.
In terms of what you need from the community, whether it's, and this could still be the city itself, city government, volunteers, donations, what do you need to help people?
I think continued volunteers, a couple things. Let me just say that continued volunteerism is always needed. And so we have the opportunity for individuals who want to volunteer and look at opportunities for that to go to sclvolunteer.org to sign up. And so that opportunity is there. We always will continue to need donations from individuals, monetary and the like, so that individuals can still keep recovering. Because, again, this is a long-term prospect for the stability of these families as well. And I think it's always how we started, to stay aware of the needs and to stay in tune to what is really required for recovery.
Yeah, and you mentioned like immediate resources, and there's the 211 number. You can call 211 or 211helps.org. 211helps.org, and that's 24/7 relief. And the 211 referral line assisted 3,207 neighbors that were seeking disaster assistance after the tornado, and they connected those people with critical services, whether it's food, like you need food, you need emergency shelter, you need debris cleanup, and to have that resource for people who were hit by the tornado and had their whole lives just upended in minutes. What a critical service that was and is.
Yeah, absolutely. We are grateful to have the 211 service that we support and sponsor through the community. It is there 24/7, and in Blue Skies, 211 agents are always there to answer the call and to help people connect to the resources that they need. But it is definitely something that when a crisis happens like the storm, we are there immediately so that individuals can start reporting their needs. We can start categorizing those and getting them connected to resources as quickly as possible. So I can't underpin the importance of 211 enough.
What about donations? What's the best way to go about receiving those? Where should people go if they're interested in giving what they can?
They should go to helpingpeople.org. And they're still able to make a donation. And so we will be putting any dollars that come through directly back into the Unmet Needs Fund and into the community to help support the gaps that we see, and which, like you said, are going to be still long-lasting, and folks are going to be recovering for, even still right now, but well into the future.
And again, we're talking with Regina Greer, Chief Impact Officer with United Way of Greater St. Louis. And Regina, I do love the work that the United Way is doing as people get back into their homes, like specifically the beds, because I will say one thing that it's so easy to take for granted, and something that I try to be grateful for every night, is when you have clean sheets and you get in your bed at night and you know that you can lay your head on, a comfortable bed with clean sheets in a safe place. That is something we shouldn't take for granted, because when that is upended, that changes life so much. And so to get people just back in a bed, because there are people still sleeping on the floor of homes that are unfixed. There are people sleeping on, blow up mattresses. And so the beds is actually such a big deal.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. And again, as you think about taking for granted, all the amenities that we enjoy every single day, those are the same things that folks need to stabilize. And so even if it is household goods, beds, the sheets, and everything that go along with that, Those are all things that folks need. And so it's sometimes that we look, there's the home, there's the brick and mortar, there's the physical place, but it's also all the things that have to go into it that also become a big deal. A furnace, a washer, dryer, appliances, those are all the things we need to live stable daily lives.
Just one last thing from me. How do we have any idea, if everything goes well, how much longer it might take to fully recover from this storm for people to? I'm assuming there are going to be folks who never fully recover, but when you to get to a level that you feel better about, how long do you think that could take?
I wish I could give you a firm answer, right? I wish my crystal ball could tell you that. I will say in my experience, and we've worked several disasters, it depends on the community as a whole. It depends on how devastating it was. It also depends on the pre-disaster state of the individual. And we've seen the gamut where if individuals had, insurance and other things, but we also know that we're in a predicament where many of the affected survivors may not have been fully insured or, had all of the things that some may have started with. So it's hard to tell you a timeline. This particular disaster could take a year or two. And we've seen things from Joplin and others that really do take time to come back online. And so that's a very difficult one to pin down, but I will say that it definitely takes time, and it is taking this 1 year and more than a year to be able to really see the full community come back to a fully stable state.
Regina Greer, Chief Impact Officer with United Way of Greater St. Louis. Thank you for the work you are doing, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. And again, lifting this up because the need is still great and the need is still there. And I'm grateful for all the St. Louises and those in the region who are doing everything they can to be sure that survivors are moved back to safe, sanitary, secure, and stable. So we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Regina, with the United Way. And Ronj, we did have a texter who I think it's kind of a great idea for one of the tarps off nights. The texter said, what if you had a tarps off night and you raised money for roof repair? Like tarps off the roofs of the homes that have been damaged, and you can somehow connect it where tarps off and raise money for roof repair. I like that. That would be a fun night.
That is a great idea, and we're not giving that person credit for it. We're stealing it. That's a great idea.
But honestly, what if you bought tickets and all the tickets in that section, like the 1,000 tickets that Ali bought? What if you buy the tickets, all the money? Now this would have to be the Cardinals, but all the money from those 1,000 tickets goes to roof repair. I like it. That's a clever idea. Of course, we want to continue to hear from you throughout the day. 314-436-7900. Did you see this? Is next on the Chris is Amy Show.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
St. Louis, are you ready to go Hardy?
I woke up on the wrong side of the truck bed.
The country rock hitmaker behind Truck Bed. Wait in the truck and one beer. He's bringing his No Holds Barred live show to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater June 5th. With special guests Cameron Whitcomb and McCoy Moore. Hardy, live, loud, and unapologetic. One night only. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Don't miss the final home game of the season. Your St. Louis Battlehawks take on the Dallas Renegades Friday, May 29th at 7 p.m. at the Dome. It's Battlehawks Kids Day. Plus, fans can score an Archie bobblehead while supplies last. Tickets start at just $18 at UFLBattlehawks.com. Caw-caw.
Western Conference Finals start tonight. It is the Spurs and the Thunder, and boy, oh boy, is that going to be a fantastic series. And this is your reminder to check into FanDuel daily, because every day during the NBA playoffs, FanDuel is serving up a happy hour. We're talking about some special drops that you are not going to want to miss. They've got profit boosts, they have bonus bets, and a whole lot more. And again, as I've been saying, that Spurs-Thunder series, wow, is that going to be a lot of fun. Really am looking forward to that getting started tonight. Check in every day with FanDuel for a new reward every single day of the NBA playoffs. Do not miss your shot to get a little extra out of the action. Go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get yourself started if you haven't already. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Summer means longer days and more deals at Lowe's. This Memorial Day, shop Miracle-Gro 0.75 cubic foot garden soil, 5 bags for $10. Plus, get select 1.5-gallon red, white, and blue annuals hanging baskets, 2 for $15 to show off your favorite plants. Stop traffic with stunning landscaping and save while you do it. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/27, excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Missouri's laws are clear. Unregulated gaming devices are illegal. Companies have been telling businesses that gray market machines are legal. That's wrong. Don't be scammed. If you have these devices at your business, you could be subject to criminal and civil penalties. Unplug and remove these devices today.
If you've been approached to host illegal gaming machines, call now. 800-523-1434 or visit ago.mo.gov. Sponsored by the Attorney General's Office.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about the Burn Balance Complex, which is available at Supplement Superstores. And it's Burn Balance Edge for the guys. It's Burn Balance Zen for the women. And what this is very simply a complete metabolism system. It's not just a simple fat burner. It's way more than that. It works with your body to get the metabolism working the way that it's supposed to. So what you notice right away, what I've noticed here in the first couple of months is your shirt will lay a little bit flatter, your pants fit a little bit looser. It's not like that as immediate, but it comes pretty fast. This is a great natural weight loss option for people that don't want prescriptions or injections. If those aren't for you, go to Supplement Superstores and check out the Burn Balance Complex. On top of getting the metabolism working, you're going to get reduced stress with lower cortisol levels. You're going to have appetite control and craving control, all-day focused energy without the jitters that come with energy drinks. And look, it's not magic. You got to do things the right way, but the Burn Balance Complex makes it so much easier. So get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex for you right there, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
The smartest way to do your homework is Hackman Lumber.
Thinking about building a new deck? Start with the deck experts at Hackman Lumber, home of one of the largest inventories of decking materials and accessories in Missouri. From treated lumber and cedar to all the leading names in decking, their experts will help you choose the perfect materials for your dream deck. Then finish it off with endless railing options, balusters, and LED deck lighting to bring your backyard to life. Hackman Lumber will not be undersold on in-stock decking materials, guaranteed. Do it yourself? Their team is ready with expert advice. Need help from a pro? They can connect you with trusted local contractors. Also, check out their expanding paint department with custom color matching. And don't forget, follow Hackman Lumber on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to catch weekly deal specials and project inspiration all season long. Or visit us at hackmanstl.com. Locations in St. Peters, Troy, and Pacific, Missouri.
Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
All right, so this is a serious did you see this? Because it is a crime, but it's also an interesting crime because I guess you can go to jail for a lot of reasons and some are more interesting than others. But this happened in Crestwood. It was a high dollar value meat theft. So a man is facing felony charges accused of stealing over $10,000 worth of meat and candy from Sam's Club. And what's interesting is that the Crestwood Police Department was able to catch this guy. They actually used the Regis facial recognition application along with like the Overland Home Depot to find this guy because he was stealing things, but he was going after expensive meat and candy. And he would fill up these bags with meat and candy, and then they said he was recognized because he, quote, used a unique modus operandi. He would propel his shopping cart like a scooter with one foot as he left the store and headed towards his getaway vehicle. So he would do the scooter thing that all kids do. after he stole the meat. And that's how they recognized him, is because he would propel the shopping cart like a scooter to ride out of the store.
Oh, see, and I thought he thought that he was being clever.
Why?
He's like, I'm not going to leave any shoe prints.
Oh, well.
You know, because they're going to find my shoe print. They'll measure it up like they do in the movies. So, oh, this is a size 10.5. Oh, we know where this guy
Yeah.
is. Look at the treads on the... They only sell these treads on certain shoes in certain places. I know where to find this guy.
Well, the problem
Flea
is...
feet.
Yeah. The problem is he was so focused on the shoes, apparently, according to your theory, that he didn't realize that leaving every store like he's riding a scooter is pretty recognizable. Also, he wore the same clothing, which is bad. He had unique identifiable tattoos.
You got to cover your tattoos,
Yeah,
dude.
and he kept using
Come
the
on.
same getaway car. So as he scootered, but $10,000 of high-value meat. But he also brought in the candy because you need a little sweet treat. Even when you're committing a crime, you got to have a little treat.
Well, speaking of meat, Amy, we know the price of beef is just through the roof.
Well, that's
right
because this
now.
guy's stealing all of it.
Yes. Well, no, it's not because of that. Well, in part because of that. Yeah, he's not helping.
He's not helping.
But if you want to lower your meat consumption, might I suggest being bitten by a tick?
Oh, yeah. Alpha Gal.
Do you know about...
Oh, I know all about it. I had a family member
okay.
with Lyme disease and alpha gal.
Oh, no.
And it was a long time because the whole point is with this tick bite, it makes you allergic to red meat. And all of these
Yes, it is
people,
the Lone Star tick.
Yep.
And it is making a resurgence. And among other things, it does spread a virus, which has no known cure. But one thing it might do to you is cause a meat allergy.
And you
so
know what?
you do not want to get bitten by it, and it is on the rise. The CDC is already warning people to be very careful about tick bites.
Yes, it's on the rise, and also it's a really bad tick season so far.
In the Midwest and the Northeast, it's becoming a real problem.
And there were people for years, decades, including, like I said, close family members who had this, and doctors said, no, there's nothing that makes you allergic to red meat. And I remember it was about 10 years ago, the University of Delaware came out with this massive study and said, actually, we've proved it. This does come from ticks, and it's terrible.
Here's what you need to be on the lookout for. Adult female Lone Star ticks they've got a single white dot on their back. Males are a little smaller, and they have black lines on their back. So if you got to get really close and look at the tick.
They say if you pull a tick out, right, you've got a tick in you, you have to put it in a little baggie so you can show your doctor.
And bring it to your doctor, and he goes, what is this? Why are you bringing this
My
to me?
tick is sick. All right.
It looks dead.
He's got no head.
Oh, it's because I put him in a plastic bag. He can't breathe.
That's Chris Raji. I'm Amy Mark Scores. We want to keep hearing from you. It's a Tarps Off Monday. 314.
But about to be a pants off Monday, too, Amy.
No pants.
Let's go.
314-436-7900.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Hey Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. What if your bathroom felt less like a routine and more like a daily escape? Glover here for my friends at Michael's Baths. They can transform ordinary bathrooms into beautiful, comfortable spaces for homeowners across St. Louis and all the surrounding areas. And now they're introducing new premium walls, perfect for those who love the look of stone without the upkeep. It's sleek, durable, and designed to elevate your space. For a limited time, enjoy a free rain shower head or upgrade with safety features like grab bars or a built-in seat. Call us at 636-775-0800 or michaelsbaths.com.
All eyes will be on Mizzou men's basketball this year, with one of the nation's top recruiting classes coming to the Zoo. You don't want to be watching from the couch while Mizzou Arena is rocking, so grab your black and gold and experience it. Go to MUTigers.com/MBBTIX to get your name on the season ticket request list for next season. Don't wait. Visit MUTigers.com/MBBTIX today. MIZ.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is 10 o'clock and it is raining in downtown St. Louis and 79 degrees. We do have a flood watch in effect for parts of our listening audience, including St. Charles and Jefferson counties. I'm Debbie Monterey. A second suspect in a Collinsville murder for hire plot is facing trial. Marty Shaw, set for trial this afternoon in Edwardsville. Investigators say Shaw drove the getaway car after 32-year-old Portia Rowland was shot by an accomplice. It's believed 3 men took part in the shooting after being paid $10,000 by Rowland's husband. That shooter, Gary Johnson, was convicted of murder in March. Rowland's husband, Sammy Schaefer Jr., faces trial next January. An update to a story from last hour: a judge has allowed prosecutors to use the gun notebook as evidence at Luigi Mangione's trial in that United Healthcare killing. In DeSoto, Illinois, an 8-year-old boy who ran to his mother's defense when she was being beaten by her ex-boyfriend has died. 36-year-old Marcus Moultrie, charged initially last week with 2 counts of attempted homicide. That's expected to be upgraded. Jackson County, Illinois sheriff's deputies found the 8-year-old and his mother both suffering from injuries inflicted with a baseball bat. A report by Axios accuses Cuba of acquiring more than 300 drones for an alleged planned strike on the U.S., Axios citing classified intelligence. Connor Pfeiffer is Senior Director of Government Relations for FDD Action.
With having a regime only 90 miles from Key West that is an anti-American communist regime that is aligned with China, Russia, and Iran. And so it's unfortunate that if you have a situation where a regime like this is able to get weapons from those partners who are adversaries of the United States, then it's an immediate threat to the homeland because of proximity.
Cuba's president has warned that any U.S. military action against his country would lead to a bloodbath with incalculable consequences for regional peace and stability. He says the country has a right to protect itself from the United States. Cuba has come under increasing strain since the U.S. cut off its energy supplies, and in recent weeks, fuel has run out, electricity off and on for only a few hours a day. Bob Criss has quit the University City Stormwater Commission while urging leaders to stop stalling on an upgrade to the flood warning system on the River Des Peres. Criss is a Washington University professor and one of the region's top flooding experts. According to the Post-Dispatch, city officials are not opposed to the $20,000 upgrade, but say they have to wait until the next fiscal year starts, which is July. Criss calls the Upper River Des Peres the flashiest flash flooding basin in the state and says new equipment would instantly send flash flooding alerts to residents' cell phones. From the KMOX business desk, President Trump moving to withdraw his $10 billion lawsuit against the Internal Revenue Service over the leak of his tax returns amid reports a resolution of the case was close at hand. News that the Trump administration was contemplating a fund to pay Trump allies drew an immediate backlash from Democrats, including Representative Jamie Raskin, who calls that idea unconstitutional. The head of the Department of Justice, who would be handling some settlement, is, of course, Trump's personal attorney.
Mostly cloudy, rather windy, warm, and humid this afternoon with a couple of thunderstorms around through early evening. They can produce localized damaging wind gusts and lead to areas of flash flooding, the high 80. Some clouds, breezy, warm, and humid tonight. There can be a strong thunderstorm late, though 72. Mostly cloudy, breezy, and humid tomorrow with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, the high 81. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Lots of rain coming down in downtown St. Louis. Isolated thunderstorms in the region at 79 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Brought to you by USPS Ground Advantage.
Business moves fast. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Artificial intelligence that reflects those values, the world will be unimaginably better for it.
Well, that was the voice of former CEO of Google, Eric Schmidt, getting booed. And that was just the beginning of the boos from the students at the University of Arizona, Ranj, because what we had this weekend was another AI positive commencement speech, another commencement speech praising AI in a room or a stadium full of students who might be losing their jobs and whose degrees might be thrust into the annals of obsolescence by AI. Somebody's not reading the room with these commencement speeches.
Well, I would think that after this one, and going back a few days, 5-6 days ago when Gloria called, and it was last weekend, I guess it was last Saturday, so a week ago Saturday, Gloria Caulfield, who is a real estate executive, was speaking to a crowd at Central Florida, UCF, and she did the same thing. She was talking about artificial intelligence. And as soon as she brought it up, the crowd started booing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was, if you've ever watched a commencement address, there's never booing. People don't boo. They either don't react. The students don't react because they're too tired, because they're hungover from the night before. Or they might cheer something or they'll clap politely. But when people are booing you and they're doing it in unison, you are talking about something that really upsets them. And I would hope now that after these two incidents, anybody moving forward who's been preparing an artificial intelligence speech might want to alter that a bit or completely change course, do something else. And if they don't, it just proves that person is very, very stupid or completely unaware of what's going on around the country.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about being tone deaf or not being able to read the room. The boos were boisterous against Eric Schmidt, the former Google CEO.
Architects of artificial intelligence. Interesting. The question is whether you will help shape artificial intelligence. We do not know. We do not know the precise contours of what this. If you'd let me make this point, please.
You know what? I'll tell you what. This was such a great weekend for imbuing hope for the future.
Of the young people.
Of the young people. The kids are all right, folks. The kids are going to be all right. Like, you have the Tarps off crew at the Cardinals game. You have these fine students at the University of Arizona booing the doofus that is Eric Schmidt, who's acting. Okay, not just praising AI, Ranj, but they are treating the inevitability of AI as an objective fact and an objective positive. They're talking to education majors. He talked to people who have gone to school to be teachers and tutors and professors and brought up how, hey, AI, you don't even need teachers anymore. You can just type in your question and it's your own personal tutor, which I would also argue that if he is reducing the position of teacher and tutor to just simply giving an answer or direction on math or grammar, he is missing the heart and soul of what tutoring and teaching and mentoring is.
Well, the whole point of learning is not to arrive to, it's not having the answer. It's the journey to the answer. That's the whole point. That's why work is hard. That's why schoolwork is supposed to be difficult. That's why whenever you cheat on a test to just get through it, you're not doing yourself a favor. Because the expectation is that, especially if you're going to become a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, you want to know how things work. And that's why when you're doing math tests, they tell you, show us your work. Show us how you got to this answer. Don't just give us the answer. And I think that people generally, I believe, are excited about the prospects of what might come with artificial intelligence, like what it might be capable of doing. But I don't think they want it at the expense of losing jobs, building more of these massive data centers, especially in more populated areas. Stuff that goes along with that, it isn't as exciting. And there was I can't remember who it was now, but as we're talking about it, I am reminded of a column that I read a couple of months ago. And it was the gist of it was something along the lines of, we're talking about all these things with data, with artificial intelligence, but nobody is asking the most important question, which is, do people even want it? Mm-hmm. Do people want AI? Because you've got all these companies full steam ahead on it, and that's all they're thinking about. But they're not thinking about whether or not the population actually wants this to happen. Are we going to be a better society? Are we going to be a better world if artificial intelligence is everywhere? And I would argue probably not. I mean, there are some things it might be able to do. It might be able to help the medical field diagnose certain things, or maybe find the right treatment for an illness or something like that. It might be able to do away with busy work at your job. But for the most part, is it a good thing for the country? Is it a good thing for the planet? And I think the prospects of what could go wrong for me are a little overwhelming. And that's the thing I think about the most. Yeah, it might be able to do a lot of good, but there might be so much bad that comes with it that it's not worth it.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole point, is there are definitely areas where I'm sure AI can be helpful. We've seen some medical breakthroughs where the technology is able to assist doctors, but not replace doctors. We've seen technology where maybe AI can, the large language models can help you with busy work in corporate America. Like if you just got to go through some data or you've got to build a deck for a presentation, it can help with busy work. But the problem is when it infiltrates every aspect of our lives, and we just think, we take the heart, the soul, and the humanity out of our workspaces, our creative spaces, our educational spaces, because we think, oh, well, if you just arrive at the answer, 2 + 2 is 4, that's the exact same thing as having a relationship and a conversation with your teacher. Or using even, I would go into the AI Val Kilmer, and I know he wanted it and his family wanted it, but there is more to acting than just the words and the face. There's a soul, there's meaning behind eyes. In the same way, Ranj, that this is a little bit different, but there was an Iranian doctor, came to the United States, became a surgeon, became the first surgeon to ever do a hand transplant. A hand transplant. And they said, what about the hand? The hand, it's not just that you want the hand to be able to grab things and to be able to write and to do, the fine motor skills. But he's like, the hand doesn't make sense, because if you touch someone, you can tell if there's love in that touch, right? You can tell if there's fear in that touch. There's emotion in the hands and the nerves, and how amazing it is. And I feel like that whole aspect of the human, of being able to convey love, to be able to convey care, concern, or taking that out and say, well, no, we just touched you. Like a robot touches your shoulder is very different than a human.
Well, that's the problem with AI, or one of the problems with artificial intelligence, is that it doesn't have the nuance, or at least not yet. Maybe it could at some point, but it will never be it'll never have the soul of a human. That just isn't possible, and it will try, and the people who develop these technologies will continue to try to make that happen. It just can't. It can't happen. It's not possible. And a texter we've gotten in says, the graduates booing AI will do great living in their parents' basements because they will be unemployed. Well, that's the problem, dude, is that they're worried about being unemployed. And not everybody can work in artificial intelligence. It's the same thing with coding, and which, by the way, was a thing 5 years ago.
5 years ago, everybody
5 years
said,
ago, where
"Learn
people,
to code."
yes, you're worried about losing your job, better learn to code. Well, guess what? AI can code now.
Yeah.
And now those people are obsolete. So what's the next thing it's going to replace? That's the problem. That's why people are worried about it, because all of these graduates are entering a workforce where companies are looking for ways to cut costs. And they'll go, oh, I could just use AI to do it. And a lot of these companies don't know what they're doing, and they'll just implement it. And all they know is it's cheaper. It's cheaper for us. Is it going to make the company better? Probably not, but it will be cheaper. And that's what all of these people are concerned about. And they're right to be concerned about it, because, again, not everybody can have a job in AI. So we're going to reach a point here, I think, unless it is proven that artificial intelligence is actually really is bunk and is not doing a good job of replacing humans, and that's somehow becoming apparent in the results companies are getting, and they go, oh, man, this AI sucks. We need to go back to humans again. Unless something like that happens, it is going to replace a lot of people, which puts potentially millions out of work, which creates a massive crisis in the country and really around the world, because this is not going to just happen here.
I do think that there are unintended consequences. There is a future that we can't perfectly predict. And there are times where I don't feel the full doomsdayness of AI, partly because a lot of large language models right now are dumb. And I feel like they're getting dumber because we talk about Google and Gemini and AI. And the internet is getting dumber because people are dumb, and we're putting more and more falsehoods, incorrect information, stupid opinions on the internet. And I always say, the internet's going to be a post-truth society pretty soon. We're almost there. And I think they've got to figure out how to get AI not to fall for it, because AI is pretty easy to dupe. So right now I feel like we have artificial, stupidity or artificial mediocrity, because it's just an aggregator right now. And there's different types of AI that are going to take jobs and coding and so forth. But I'm not completely concerned yet about like sentient AI taking over the world, partly because that prospect also assumes that people are going to stand for it and allow it or lean into it. And I do think there might be more opposition to this than the tech bros would like to think. That there might be a different reality awaiting AI if humans aren't completely passive. And I'm starting to think that humans aren't going to be completely passive as we just surrender jobs and creative spaces and ideation and all of that to AI.
Well, the only way, Amy, that will happen is if livelihoods are legitimately threatened, and it's of millions and millions of people, when they feel like they have no choice but take to the streets. Okay, so, we've seen stuff like this happen in other countries where the situations economically are so dire that people are desperate. And I think that's what it will take here. It'll take hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people to be desperate before they really do something to push back tangibly against AI. Right now, we're just going to complain about it.
Yeah.
People are going to complain and talk about how worried they are. But I think, and that's unfortunate, and I hope it doesn't come to that. I hope it doesn't come to a situation where people are, truly, they feel like they have no other option but then to come together and really protest against this. And it might take more than just marching. I don't know what this looks like. I hope it's not. I hope it doesn't ever turn violent or anything like that. But if people are worried about their livelihoods, they will push back in a very aggressive way about it. I just don't know what that looks like.
Yeah, I think it might take a while for us to respond, just like the law legislation is always behind technology. But I definitely think, like you said, it's going to be when people start losing jobs, a lot of people start losing jobs, and
Yep.
as we see the effect on kids. And we already see that it's starting to hurt kids. And I think,
Amy,
there's going to be more
if we-
regulation.
when we look at recessions where people are put out of work and it's like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people, the rest of us just go, oh, that's really sad. That's, we can't have this and it'll rebound. But if it does get to be like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people or millions of people, and as quickly as this AI thing has moved in just the last 2 years, that could happen very rapidly. If that's the case, then we're going to start to see some movement, I think.
Yeah. And as we go to break here, we have a texter who says automobiles will never take off. That will scare the horses. That's not what we're saying. AI has already taken off. What we're saying is, will it hijack humanity, or will it create a global crisis? Well, it's already taken off, but I think with regulation, legislation, and even just you almost start treating it in the same way that we treat medical ethics. We have the technology, right, to be cloning people and, gene editing, the whole thing with designer babies. You can do that now, but there's a general consensus of medical ethics that that's not something we're going to do. We might have to have our own AI ethics that there are certain things we're not going to do. That's what we mean. He's Chris Ranji. I'm Amy. Mark Scores. More to come. We always want to hear from you on The Chris and Amy Show.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, let's talk about refinancings, and let's just bottom line this. Everyone needs money at some point in their life.
You know what, Dave? There's so many different ways you can make money. Number one, go to a lower rate. If you're financed over the last 3 years, chances are you're paying a higher rate than what you can today. Refinance with the Bagel loan, no closing costs at all. And that's number one. Number two, a lot of people are concerned not about the cash flow, but overall interest that you're paying. Go from a 30-year to a 20-year. The rates are lower on a 20-year versus a 30-year. Save hundreds of thousands of dollars. And third is the really easy way. You need cash. I need cash. Take cash out. Refinance now. Take the money you need. Keep the payment the same. It's easy. It's simple. All with no closing costs with that Bagel loan.
If you're looking to save money, get a little cash to your pocket, and do it with the right person, give Stewie a call or a text on his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS 226715.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement. Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading Bargain liquid detergent.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-355-8662. 636-355-8662 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-355-8662.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for Your Retirement Highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
100 years of service and still at your service. KMOX.
Well, it's time for what should be our egg beat, but it's our Six Flags beat, because here's the thing, Ranj. We decided the two things that we need to make sure we're always on top of the news. Eggs, egg prices, and Six Flags.
Yeah, okay.
Now,
Are we calling this? Yeah, this was. I thought this would be a good name for it, and if you don't like it, that's okay.
Okay.
You can tell me, Amy. I think we should call it More Flags, More News.
Okay. I was personally just hoping that we kept it at the egg beat and we only talked about eggs and Six Flags. I know it
Premises.
Oh,
of
there's
Six.
some people that you don't want to pay the prices for the food at Six Flags, so you hard-boil some eggs, you put them in a plastic bag in your pocket, you carry that sucker around in the heat all day.
All right.
You go on the log flume. It's a little wet.
The log flume. That's right. I
and
remember
you
the
pull
log flume.
the baggie out of your pocket and you pull out the egg. The hard-boiled, and it's a little wet because the log flume leaked in.
Yeah, there's nothing sexier than bringing a hard-boiled egg with you wherever you go.
Well, in this Six Flags news, a roller coaster at a Six Flags, and was this the one in Austin? I just did my video just pooped out on me. But the Six Flags at the highest point of the roller coaster, and it looks kind of like a Screaming Eagle or a Ninja type roller coaster. It broke. And the people had to climb out of the roller coaster cars and walk down on the ledge of the roller coaster and down the stairs that they use for maintenance, the stairs/ladder, at the very highest point of the roller coaster. I feel like, is this one of those things where roller coasters and incidents are happening more often, or we're just hearing about it?
I think...
Because, I feel like it's going to happen in a lot.
No, I mean, I don't think it is. I think you're just hearing about it. This seems pretty common. Don't you think? Because, I've never been stuck on a roller coaster. I've never had a roller coaster mishap of any kind.
No.
However, I'm not worried about it. I think if I got on the Screaming Eagle tomorrow,
Okay.
or the Batman ride
Okay.
at Six Flags, I think that there's a 99.99999% chance everything works out this time.
I think so, too. And I said Austin. This is Six Flags in New England. It was the Six Flags in New England.
Okay.
And it was the Superman ride, and it just stalled.
The Superman ride.
And also the staff had to guide them down. Does that mean it's like a 15-year-old?
Well, first of all, let me get let me get the bearings right on this.
Okay.
The Superman ride, you lay flat, right?
Well,
like you're like Superman flying.
No, but that's why I
Is
said
that how it works?
That's why I said it looks like a Screaming Eagle or a
Okay.
It looks like a Screaming Eagle because they're not hanging, they're sitting in seats. It's not one of those where the seats are hanging and it flips upside down. Maybe it flips upside down, but the picture shows them sitting in what looks like Screaming Eagle seats. attached to the track.
That's not the same.
No,
you
but
know,
like, I mean, if you're a teenager, are you the one that's climbing up there to get the people?
No, you got to be a technician of. No, they don't have like the high school kids go up there. You have to be some kind of specialist.
Anyway,
don't you think?
You would think so.
You guys just let people like the 16-year-old who's part-time walk all the way up there?
One of the ladies, poor lady, she's like grabbing onto the railing with both arms and crying, like frozen on the track at the highest point. You're just standing on the track and she's crying. How is she going to get down?
That's awesome.
Anyway, that's our more flags, more news. I mean, these are the things that are important to us. Eggs and Six Flags. And so you'll always get the latest news on the Chris and Amy show. You'll always get to talk to Matt Pauley on Mondays at 10:30 because we are talking to Matt Pauley, host of KMOX Sports Open Line and Rush Hour Sports, next.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It's not really a sports show. It's just a show.
So I don't really have a sports show, but I love the Cardinals. I am born and bred St. Louis, went to my first game like so many of you, 4 years old. Couldn't believe how green it was standing there next to the players with my dad, and now I go with my kids. You get it. So when you listen to the DGS, it's going to be a slice of life happy hour, but we're always going to talk Cardinals.
The Dave Glover Show at 1. Then stick around for Cardinals baseball.
The final home game of the season is here, St. Louis. Your St. Louis Battlehawks hit the field Friday, May 29th at 7 p.m. against the Dallas Renegades at the Dome at America Center. It's Battlehawk Kids Day, packed with family fun, Battlehawks energy, and an Archie bobblehead giveaway while supplies last. Join Battlehawks Nation. Bring the whole crew and help close out the season the only way St. Louis knows how. Loud and proud. Caw-caw. Because caw is the law. Get tickets starting at just $18 at UFLBattlehawks.com or Ticketmaster.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Well, I think it dropped quite a bit because it's 70 degrees now, and I'm pretty sure it was a lot warmer about an hour ago. But it's cloudy. It's spritzing outside Studio B. There could be showers and a heavy thunderstorm today. The high today is 80. I'm guessing we hit that already. Tonight, mostly cloudy, warm and humid, a strong late-night thunderstorm. Those can bring hail and damaging winds, a low of 71.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Giddy up! Cardinal Cowboy for Team Renner here, America's oldest family-owned garage door company, serving both wholesale and retail markets. Free repair or replacement quotes and $100 off a new garage door.
RENNER. Meet me at the Muni in Forest Park.
Muni tickets for 2026 are on sale now, featuring Hairspray, Shrek the Musical, South Pacific, Disney's Newsies, Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations, Meet Me in St. Louis, and Something Rotten. Choose your seats now at muni.org.
Meet me at the Muni in Forest Park.
Spring is here. Hi, this is Tim Gamma.
And I'm Tom Gamma.
When it comes to tree care, call the name you can trust, Gamma Tree Experts, founded by our dad, Frank Gamma, in 1954.
Frank will be 91 this year, and the third generation of Gammas have joined the business.
Call our team of certified arborists to inspect your trees and shrubs today. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Now in our 72nd year.
For pruning, fertilization, and removal, call Gamma Tree Experts today or visit us at gammatree.com.
Your trees deserve the best care.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined, and the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Get inside your Redbirds and the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Thank you, Ollie cheer. Thank you, Ollie. I can hear it all the way up in the booth.
We did some really good things on the field, but to engage with the fan base the way we did yesterday was so much fun.
You know it. Tarp got to come on, baby. Yes, sir. Yo, Paulie.
Paulie's a great name.
Yo, Paulie. What'd you do for Paulie? Anything? Me, Paulie. I was responsible.
Paulie, we're here because of you.
Well, Matt Paulie, all the talk this weekend, all the rage is the Tarps Off crew as the Cardinals get the series win over the Kansas City Royals. And I think this was the most fun weekend that I've had with Cardinals baseball in a long time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it was organic, and it's just something that started, and it took over the ballpark, and it's taken over the city, and a lot of people nationally taking note of it, and it just helps create kind of different vibes in the ballpark, which is really, really good. So it was fun for sure. I was doing the Star of the Game interview on the field Friday night, and I mean, just to be on the field when they got that walk-off and just feel the energy down there, and so much of that energy came as a result of what was going on out there in right field. It was pretty cool. It was you could feel it for sure.
Is your tarp off right now?
It is not. I'm tarps on at the moment.
I mean, you could.
Everybody
home,
should be
you?
happy about that. I am home, yes.
Yeah, go and take your tarp off, man.
Everybody at KMOX over this whole weekend, I've heard all the hosts ask each other if tarps are off, and all the hosts.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, Tom Ackerman, was it Bernie Miklasz, Kevin Wheeler, everybody was talking about tarps off. And so far, all the hosts have not been tarps off. They've been tarps
cowards.
on.
We're all cowards. None of us are going to do it.
Pretty much. Zach over at Channel 5 did a report where he went tarps off during his report, which was funny. I saw that on social media, and yeah, I mean, there's been a few people have done it. It's been good.
So Matt,
sorry, I was just gonna say, what if like 30 years ago, Julius Hunter and Larry Connors did a tarps off? They anchored the news that way.
Mike Bush.
Mike Bush. That's
Could have Bob and Mike. Bob and Mike. That would have been a great Bob and Mike promo.
Oh boy!
Back in the day.
I mean, well, now we can put stuff behind paywalls, so you can do anything.
That's right. We should.
Just turning into
hey, you want to see?
fans. Yeah.
You want to see these shirts off? You go ahead and pay us, and then we'll do it. So it was such a fun thing, and I think we're all kind of wanting to continue the momentum of it and hope it keeps going somehow. How can the Cardinals keep this going? Other than winning, winning will create excitement, but it's very difficult to make sure that at every game there's a section of people that are behaving like those Stephen F. Austin ball players were acting over the weekend.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good question, and I do think the Cardinals have tried to do some things to liven up the atmosphere bluntly. And I've had this conversation so many times stick with me here for a second because this is going to take me a moment. In Colorado, that ballpark is filled up most nights because people don't care about the baseball. People care about going to Coors Field and having a good time. I mean, they built a party deck out in right field in Colorado where they literally put up the walls of the party deck where you can't even see the field. So what that has turned into there is people go to the games to experience the atmosphere of it and have fun and drink and everything. It's never going to be that way in St. Louis. I don't want it to be that way in St. Louis because that means the game becomes secondary. And winning baseball and those sort of things is always going to be the most important thing in St. Louis. That being said, what can be done to provide a little bit more of that, where the atmosphere is a little bit more lively, where people are going in because they do want to see a baseball game and because they do want to see the Cardinals win, but not something where if the Cardinals happen to not be winning, all of a sudden it becomes a ghost town there, as it did to a certain extent over the last couple years. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I do think it's a thing, and I found it to be interesting that it took some 20-year-olds from Texas to liven up the atmosphere at Busch Stadium to that degree. And I think the team has done things, what they do on Friday nights with the Budweiser Terrace. There's a few other things that have gone on. I really think the team is doing a good job of changing kind of the game day presentation from one night to the next, but there's still a long way to go. And I think we saw that firsthand with the fact that those guys did something that generally people in St. Louis would not be super comfortable doing, and it turned into something that was awesome, that the players embraced, that everybody has embraced. So just being a little bit more open-minded about what the what we're supposed to do, the decorum that goes along with being at the ballpark in St. Louis. If we're a little more, I think it's okay to have those conversations and, actually use this as an opportunity to see what the next step is going to be. I don't know if that answers your question, but it is something I've been thinking about.
Yes, and so yes, I think, and this is exactly the thought I had, and when we were kicking around the topic yesterday and today for our show here, that I said, of course it would take a group of people from Texas or from somewhere else to start this, because you typically wouldn't see it from St. Louis. The one thing I would say is, you make the argument about you don't want the game to become secondary. All right. I think there's too much made of that, because people say the same thing about Wrigley Field. Well, the game is secondary there. People are there to have a good time. But when the baseball is good and things are happening on the field, that is as loud of a ballpark as you could be in, because they're into it. They are into the action if there's action happening. If we ever got to the place, and I agree that we won't ever get there because it just is it's a different vibe in the city. But if we ever did get to the place where people are just going to Busch Stadium for the party, when the game is good, you're going to hear them. Mm-hmm. I don't think that you would ever lose out on the baseball just because you've got a bunch of people who are there, maybe not specifically for what's happening there, but also to take in the atmosphere of the ballpark. I think that would be perfectly okay.
I guess the only thing that would, in theory, I guess I agree with what you're saying, but the only thing that would worry me about it, I don't want it to go to as far as like just it only being the party, and then if the baseball is good, people are locked in, because there's always going to be a lot of people who are going to be showing up just for the baseball, and I don't want to like ice those people out or make them.
But you
feel
wouldn't.
Like
They would. I think that they'd still be able to enjoy the game.
I hope so. I think about all the nuns that you see at the ballpark. Are they still showing up? Like, I don't know.
Wait,
I don't.
what?
Nuns show up to White Sox games too.
Well, now they really have to show up.
Well, yeah.
'Cause
Well, they were
the
before the
Pope.
Pope.
Yeah, 'cause it's the
They were
Pope's
before
team.
Pope Leo even.
But
yeah.
I think I was listening to sports on a Sunday morning. It's always so good, and I can't remember who made this point, so I don't want to like say a name if someone didn't make this point. But it was also important to note that it was the rowdy, boisterous, tarps off crowd that made it feel like a soccer game. Chants were going, all of that, but it wasn't because they were like drunk and wild. It was just young people excited to be there. And I do think that makes a difference too, because someone made the point, like sometimes if this whole section is just going crazy and it's tarps off, it could be that maybe it's just a extra boisterous or, alcohol lubricated crew. But these were just people that were excited. And because of that, they got to go in the clubhouse afterwards and so forth. But there was something about it that you brought up organic, but the fact that it wasn't, it didn't even come from just like drinking too much and just being a rowdy crowd. Like when I went to the Boston Bruins playoff game, not against the Blues, but against the Toronto Maple Leafs, they were boisterous, but then like people were super drunk and they were fighting each other. And some people I saw like 5 people got thrown out and 3 people threw up by the second period. Like, it was just boisterous, and you could say they were really into it, and they were, but there was also kind of the wild party atmosphere, whereas this weekend it was pretty pure. Like I said, they had kids who weren't part of the baseball team would run up to that section. My friends' sons went up to the section just to join in.
Yeah, and you mentioned hockey. Let's bring in the Blues to this, because if the Blues are just terrible year after year after year, they're going to have a hard time selling tickets. But for the most part, I mean, if just about every game is sold out. I mean, every great game has a great crowd, and it's a smaller venue for sure than Busch Stadium, but not by that much. And the Blues do a really good job of cultivating the type of environment where people are showing up every single night, and it's a lot of fun, and it's boisterous, and it's hockey. Maybe instead of like the Wrigley Field comparison, we should be doing more of like a Blues comparison on what do the Blues do in terms of their presentation that makes sure that people show up on it every single night, no matter how the team is playing. I don't think attendance dropped for Blues games this past year, even when they were one of the worst teams in hockey for a while. So you bring up, I know that wasn't the point of your question, Amy, but I do think bringing up hockey in this town is a good comparison. And you make a great point about that was not an alcohol-fueled thing out there where some people would be uncomfortable going out there. It's just, it wasn't that at all. And I think the illustration of it is actually pretty cool, because it's a bunch of young guys who just decided they were going to be themselves and be somewhat unique, and they started doing something. And now it's been the biggest story in the city for the better part of 3 days, and it's caught national attention and everything. Like, people want fun. People want to be themselves, and we saw a version of that this weekend.
So all I can hope is that somehow what those guys did over the weekend is like the first person on the dance floor at the wedding, just kind of opening the floodgates a little bit where people can start to cut loose while they're at the game. And, sometimes I think the BFIB thing, the best fans in baseball, is to our detriment. Because I think people believe they have to behave in a certain way when they're at the ballpark and, maybe be, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but not to cut loose a little bit. Like, we're a more reserved crowd. We'll cheer when good things happen, of course, even the other side, but we're more reserved. I don't think we need to be reserved. And I'm not saying I'm not saying you jump out of you jump from the upper deck onto the field like that guy tried doing a couple of weeks ago. I'm not saying stuff like that. I'm just saying that we can cut loose a little bit and show a little passion.
You can still clap for the other pitcher coming off the mound after a great day, even if you don't have your shirt on.
Well, that's true. I've always said that.
But might as well take the shirt off.
I've always believed that.
I like the fact that it puts us in it makes us look not so stuffy.
We look cool. We were cool.
Yeah. Yes.
We were cool.
Because everybody sees
cool.
us as whether or not we like this, people see us as being stuffy here.
Okay.
So,
and you tell me the Cardinals are not an integral part of the selfhood of St. Louis, because look how the Cardinals games and responses to Cardinals games has changed how we view ourselves as a city. Remember the Mets broadcasters? We talked about them for 3 days because they said, downtown is always dead, and they poo-pooed the city. And we talked about it. Now we have the Tarps Off crew, and we're looking at how does this reflect on St. Louis and the fans and our personality. The Cardinals are such a big part of the personhood of the city of St. Louis.
I saw so much social media from like other NL Central cities, specifically like Chicago and Milwaukee, where people are like, okay, give Cardinals credit. They're pretty cool. Or even, what's going on? The Cardinals are supposed to be the most unlikable team in the division, and now they're doing something that's fun. Like it absolutely has made the organization look different. Yes. I think for a lot of people, especially for the teams and the fan bases that really dislike the Cardinals, a little harder to dislike them when something fun like that is going on.
That's what I'm talking about. And I know you don't need Cubs fans to like you. That's not really what I'm talking about. But if you can get some sort of national recognition that, hey, maybe St. Louis isn't as boring as Chris Bryant said it was. Maybe that's a fun baseball market. I do think we want that. I would love to have I would like for people to not think that we are just so boring and stuffy.
Well,
which is how we're seen as, oh, we think we're better than you because we're the best fans in baseball and we're boring and we don't have a good time at the games and we're watching, taking notes and keeping score because we're the best fans in baseball. I think that we finally presented to other people that we can have a good time, even though it was a bunch of people from Texas. Even though it happened in that ballpark, I think goes a long way for us if we can keep it going.
I tend to agree. It was fun. Like, let's just. Sometimes we're putting way too much definition on this. Let's be okay having fun. If it's not hurting anybody.
Yeah, so let's have more fun.
Having fun.
Yeah. I'm with you. It was fun. Let's have more of it.
And I will say, because I know we got to let you go here, Matt, but I also think the Tarps Off crowd had to collide with the right team, which was a young team that's playing above expectations right now, and a manager that knows how to lean into it. Yes, a big part of this is the Tarps Off crowd, but also a big part of it that this was the right Cardinals team for the moment and the right manager for the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Paul Goldschmidt would have checked in at second base and, thrust his hips around and, acted like he was had his shirt in the air. Don't know.
More hip thrusting at second base. Matt Pauley.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
Well, thank you, Matt. The Cardinals have a well-deserved off day, so Sports Open Line tonight with you.
Yep, 6 to 8.
6 to 8. Thanks, Matt.
Redbird Rush Hour.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yo, Paulie, your sister's with me. I'll call you back later. See ya.
That is Matt Pauley, and when we come back, Chris Ranji, you had a special doubleheader weekend.
Oh, it was so much fun. Can't wait to tell you all about it. Yes, and don't forget Redbird Rush Hour at 5. Before that, you know what's coming up, Amy? Gas House Gang at 12. We'll talk more baseball then.
Sounds good. That's Chris Ranji. I'm Amy Mark Scores, the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
You care about every detail, and so does Purina. Every ingredient in their pet food comes from trusted sources, and every ingredient has a purpose. Whether that purpose is to provide just the right nutrients your pet needs or a flavor they will love, Purina has over 250 recipes made without artificial flavors or preservatives for you to choose from. You're sure to find something both you and your pet will love. Learn more at Purina.com.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Cards and Cubs. The rivalry returns to Busch May 29th. KMOX kicks off the weekend early when Tom Ackerman hosts a Redbird Roundtable featuring Aussie Smith, Al Raboski, and Matt Adams Thursday, May 28th at the Beer Garden at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. We're talking ball, enjoying a cold beer, and celebrating one of baseball's best rivalries. The doors open at 4:30. The Redbird Roundtable, Thursday, May 28th. Full event details are at KMOX.com.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Why would life-saving care require a membership? In a real emergency, are you reaching for your wallet or your phone to call 911? And what if the member helicopter isn't the closest one? What if they don't carry blood on board? What if those differences matter? They do. Arch Air Medical Service is proud to serve Effingham and surrounding communities with life-saving air medical care. Our highly trained crews deliver advanced medicine in the air because when seconds count, capability matters more than a card in your wallet. Plus, we're part of Air Methods, the nation's largest air medical provider. Worried about cost? Here's the truth. The No Surprises Act protects patients with private insurance from unexpected out-of-network air ambulance bills. You'll only pay your in-network copay, coinsurance, or deductible. If you have Medicare or Medicaid, similar protections apply. Providers cannot bill beyond those limits. That means no air medical membership is needed. Learn more at airmethods.com. Copays, coinsurance, and deductibles are set by insurance providers, not Air Methods. Terms and costs may vary. Contact your insurer for details.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark scores with you. Ranj, you were in Washington, D.C.
Well, I'm still in Washington, D.C.
You are
Coming
in Washington,
back tomorrow.
D.C.
Yeah. I'm telling you. So I did a doubleheader on Saturday. Went to the Nationals-Orioles game, which is called the Beltway Series. Did you know that this past weekend, Amy, was rivalry weekend in Major League Baseball?
I knew it because you told me on Friday.
Did I tell you, because I also found out on Friday, and this is a sidebar, that the Padres and the Mariners, their rivalry, which I think most of us didn't even realize there was any sort of rivalry. Do you know what their rivalry is called?
The Padres and the Mariners.
Mm-hmm. So the Cardinals-Royals is the I-70 series.
Yep.
Right? You got the Cubs and Sox, that's crosstown. Subway Series is the Yankees and Mets. And then you've got the Padres and the Mariners.
I don't know.
Engaging in the Vedder Cup.
Vetter Cup?
Vedder. Vedder.
Like Eddie?
As in Eddie Vedder. Because he lived in San Diego and Seattle, so it's called the Vedder Cup. Like it's actually... Awesome. It's on the MLB website. You can see it. But I did the doubleheader, the Beltway Series. It's the Nationals and Orioles. And the Baltimore Orioles, by the way, despise the existence of the Nationals because when the Nats came back, they cut into the Orioles market in a very big... Because Baltimore's like 45 minutes away. So did the ballpark on Saturday, and then as soon as the game ended, just 5 minutes away by walking, is DC United Stadium, and as you know, City SC played there on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Here's my report. Both of our stadiums in St. Louis are superior. And this is not a hometown thing. I'm just telling you, Busch Stadium is nicer than Nats Park. City Park, Energizer Park is way better than DC United's park. So my cousin came with me. He's a City SC season ticket holder. And if you're a ticket holder, I believe the way it works is you can get a free ticket in all the opposing stadiums. Really? So if you travel to go watch your team, you can get a free ticket. So we got us free tickets.
Wow.
We were literally the top row, which is fine. I can deal with that. But to get up there, You come out of the tunnel.
Uh-huh.
It was 37 rows. You had to walk up 37 rows of stairs. A legit 37. I'm not making up a number.
Yeah.
We were in row 37, so you had to walk up 37 stairs, 37 flights. It was insanity, complete insanity. And then it was very steep, and you're like, where the hell are we? This is awful. It just was awful. Anyway, City Park is way better.
That's
so
awesome.
Great job. However, the Nationals do have I think it's called the Ballpark District. It's where Navy Yard is, and Navy Yard, I guess, used to not be great. It's a lot better, but they've got a nice area around their ballpark.
Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
it's fun to visit other cities, and I had no doubt that Energizer Park is something special.
Oh my God,
And
it's
I love Busch
such.
Stadium. Yeah.
And I don't have a frame of
Yeah.
reference for the others, but it's got to be one of the better soccer stadiums in the country. It has to be.
Well, we'll continue our sportsy conversation. Tarps off, hearing from you at 314-436-7900. But first, Andrew Egger joins us. He's the White House correspondent for The Bulwark, and he joins us next.
What if your bathroom felt less like a routine and more like a daily escape? Glover here from my friends at Michael's Baths. They can transform ordinary bathrooms into beautiful, comfortable spaces for homeowners across St. Louis and all the surrounding areas. And now they're introducing new premium walls, perfect for those who love the look of stone without the upkeep. It's sleek, durable, and designed to elevate your space. For a limited time, enjoy a free rain shower head or upgrade with safety features like grab bars or a built-in seat. Call us at 636-775-0800 or michaelsbaths.com.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1926 $10 gold Indian coins have been found. These gorgeous 1926 gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 500 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling the secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1926 $10 gold Indian coin from the exclusive Anniversary Gold Collection, struck 150 years after America declared its independence. These 1926 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition. Call 1-888-201-7071 to secure your exclusive 1926 Special Anniversary Gold Collection $10 Indian coin. Plus, you'll receive a free bonus over a $125 value and free shipping with every order. Call 1-888-201-7071 now to secure your 1926 $10 gold Indian coins before they sell out. Call 1-888-201-7071. Don't wait. Call now.
Hello, 4th of July. Back-to-back Jack. Kerry Robinson, a hero tonight.
The Cubs visit St. Louis May 29th through the 31st for a weekend of baseball's best rivalry at Busch Stadium. The history is real. The fans are loud, and the energy in the ballpark is unmatched. Day or night, every pitch matters when these two meet. So get ready, Cardinals fans. This is what summer baseball in St. Louis is all about. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/tickets.
The weekend starts at Busch Stadium. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou. With $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at cardinals.com.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's 11:01. It is gloomy in downtown St. Louis. We've got some rain and 78 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey. One thing we know for sure after last May's deadly tornado.
While the storms can take just a few minutes to do its damage, it takes a very long time to recover from it.
Regina Greer with the United Way says there's an additional $1.3 million investment going into targeting ongoing, emerging, and unmet needs of those impacted.
Appliances, folks still need beds. They still need items that which help to bring them to safe, sanitary, secure, and making sure that they're stable. So anything that we can do in terms of helping them to get back on their feet, back into a stable environment.
Greer says other needs are ongoing as well. They still need volunteers and donations to keep the recovery moving forward. A judge ruled in the Luigi Mangione case that some of the evidence can be used, but not all. Mangione is accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. CBS correspondent Lilia Luciano is outside the courtroom in New York and says a notebook found at the police station can be used as evidence.
Now we know that the jurors will be able to read these statements and others that could point to planning, to motivation, and things of this nature.
The judge partially rejected a defense argument that items were seized illegally before a search warrant was obtained, but he also ruled other evidence found during the initial search of Mangione's backpack must be suppressed. President Trump has withdrawn his $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS, but not abandoning hopes for a payout.
A U.S. president suing an agency he controls in an attempt to funnel cash to his political allies. The optics were always problematical. The New York Times reports that withdrawing the lawsuit will allow Trump lawyers and the administration to sidestep legal scrutiny as they move to create a fund to compensate Trump allies who say they were wronged by the Biden administration. That fund would apparently be created using taxpayer dollars. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
Jasmine Crockett, the fiery Texas congresswoman and frequent Trump target, was back in her hometown over the weekend. Saturday night, Crockett spoke at the annual Democratic Gala at the Sheraton Westport. She told fellow Democrats not to become complacent and to dig deep and do more. Crockett grew up in North County and went to Rosati Kane and MICDS. From the KMOX Business Desk, another public hearing on data center regulation taking place tonight in St. Louis. It comes as a massive data center project in Midtown moves forward at the former Famous Bar warehouse next to the Armory. City leaders want to restrict where those centers can be built and what requirements they'll have to meet. The hearing starts at 5:30 at City Hall.
Gusty winds, warm and humid this afternoon with plenty of clouds along with a couple of rounds of thunderstorms through the evening. Any thunderstorm can produce localized damaging wind gusts and lead to areas of flash flooding, the high near 80. Some clouds, breezy, warm and humid tonight. Maybe a strong thunderstorm in the area late, low 72. Mostly cloudy tomorrow, breezy and humid with a couple more showers and a thunderstorm, the high 81. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is cloudy, rainy, and 78 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Kick off summer this Memorial Day with Artistic Decks. We're celebrating with American-style value and rolling back prices on every precision-built deck. Get the backyard you've always wanted. Call 314-280-0821. Artistic Decks, making dreams affordable.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Markscores, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
So it's Monday, and as we do every Monday, we chat with Andrew Egger, the White House correspondent for The Bulwark and a co-author of the Morning Shots newsletter. And Andrew joins us now. How are you doing, Andrew?
Hey, guys, I'm great. How about yourselves? How's your Monday been?
We've been doing pretty well, and Andrew is joining us, I must note, on the Quiver River Electric guest line. We're having a lot of fun because of the whole tarps off phenomenon that happened with Cardinals baseball over the weekend. And for our listeners who may not know, Andrew is a 314. He's a St. Louis original.
314.
I saw so much about that, and I still am not. I feel like I still don't actually know what happened, but it seemed cool. It seemed like people were having fun.
So briefly, a baseball team from Stephen F. Austin went to the Cardinals game on Friday. There were like 20 of them. They all took their shirts off, and then all of these people in the stadium joined them.
Yeah.
So it went from one section with a bunch of guys with their shirts off to three sections of guys with their shirts off, and then it continued all weekend long. That's what happened.
Give them season tickets. That sounds great.
I know. Well, Ollie Marble did buy them tickets. He bought $1,000
right.
tickets for Saturday and 1,000 tickets for Sunday's game. And brought them down to the clubhouse. It was unbelievable. So that's what we've been doing.
So it's a lot more fun than what's going on in Washington.
I know. We were. Everybody had their shirts off in St. Louis, and I guess in the meantime, while we were doing that, Trump, I just heard on the news, dropped his $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS.
Yeah, so this is a strange story. It's still sort of in flux. What we believe we understand about it is that Trump has reached sort of a settlement with the IRS, and this has been a weird lawsuit forever, right? Because Trump sued over the years ago leaking by an outside IRS contractor of his tax returns. His tax returns were leaked, so were the tax returns of a lot of other kind of wealthy Americans. It was this disgruntled contractor who is now in prison for doing this. The IRS sort of denied that they had any knowledge of this or any culpability with this because it is an outside contractor, but Trump has sued for previously this sort of unimaginable sum of $10 billion. A lot of people looked at this lawsuit and they said, hey, this is not really a fair fight because you are suing in your private capacity as an American citizen, but the people who are supposed to be defending this lawsuit are the Treasury Department and the IRS, who now report to you as the president. And how can it really be, especially under this administration where there are just any sort of semblance or even pretense of sort of impartiality and independence on the part of these agencies has been sort of thrown out the window. How can it really be fair for Trump to be suing all these people who work for Trump? And what we have now seen, again, from the terms of this settlement, which are kind of astonishing, is that Trump and the people who work for Trump seem to have agreed to set aside this $10 billion lawsuit in exchange for the creation of this $1.7 billion settlement fund, this sort of truth and reconciliation fund that is, if the reporting is to be believed, going to be sort of earmarked for paying out money to Trump allies who have claims that they were unjustly targeted under the Biden administration. So this might be January 6 defendants. This might be other people who were prosecuted for different crimes connected to Trumpy political activities. Maybe lawyers who were disbarred for sort of advancing the false claim that Trump won the 2020 election. Things like this. And the cherry on top is from the reporting we understand, Donald Trump is personally barred from taking money in his personal capacity, but entities connected to Trump might not be. So, for instance, the Trump Organization, which went through a lot of legal troubles in New York, for instance, during the Biden years, could in theory have a claim on this giant pot of money. So it's sort of bizarre and insane on its face. And then the other kind of remarkable thing about this is that the timing of it all, because the president, again, this was an ongoing legal case that was taking place in federal court, not a legal case, a civil case that was taking place in federal court with Trump suing the IRS and the Treasury Department. And the judge in that court had said, hey, wait a minute. What's the deal with the way that you guys are all kind of on the same team here, right? And the judge had given the White House and Trump in his personal capacity until May 20th to basically file briefs saying, basically laying out to the judge why the judge should consider this an adversarial case, why the judge should not consider the IRS and the Treasury Department to basically be on Trump's side here. And instead of filing those briefs, we now have seen that they instead have hustled to make this settlement ahead of that deadline, so that, basically not giving the judge a case or a chance to throw the suit out. So I don't know. It really does kind of stink to high heaven. There's a lot of people who are really up in arms about this. There's been a lot of graft and corruption around this administration, but this is definitely the most sort of explicit sort of pilfering of taxpayer federal money to be specifically channeled to Trump's allies. Again, if this settlement goes forward the way it's been reported that it's about to.
And so this is also not exactly related, but it has a similar feel to the news from the last week that he had executed several individual stock trades of NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, and while there was some promotion of those companies going on at the same time. So is this also, I guess, ringing alarm bells like the settlement is?
Yeah, for me personally, I'll give you two sides of this. One is that people just hate this stuff. I mean, like there is a real kind of populist anger about the notion that, congressmen and presidents and all of these people have access to all of this insider information, and they have the ability, they're not blocked by law, from doing a certain amount of trading on that. You can get in trouble. There have been lawmakers who have genuinely gotten, run afoul of insider trading laws because they were basically caught trading on inside congressional information, and that could be proven in a court of law. But it's also, it's kind of hard to prove that in a court of law, and there's this sort of widespread sense that a lot more of this stuff is happening than can actually be proven or tried. And there have been a lot of efforts to ban this, by means of legislation, basically just forbidding congressmen and women and even presidents from basically doing this stuff at all. Those efforts have not yet borne fruit. There's more and more energy behind them. The White House has pushed back on those sorts of things. When it comes to comparing these two stories, I will say the story we were just talking about, this $1.7 billion settlement, to me, this is sort of an open and shut, basically indefensible, just sort of open corruption. The other thing is it's blurrier, right? It's more gray. It is legal. It's perfectly legal for congressmen and congresswomen and senators and presidents to buy and sell stock. There's nothing against the law about that. And these guys will always say, and it might even be true, that, this is all handled by, their outside financial and advisors and their people who are handling this stuff, and they're not necessarily feeding them information about this stuff. And so who knows to what extent that's true or false for the president? Who knows to what extent that's true or false for any individual lawmaker? It could be true, but I do think that this is part of the reason why there's such an appetite and a growing appetite to just lock some of this stuff down. Because why sort of risk it? Why have this sort of constant question about whether these people are sort of self-dealing in this way? And I think there is again a growing appetite to just change the law and just make all the trades illegal during the time of service.
Andrew, you wrote about this for your morning newsletter for The Bulwark, and I will say I didn't know about the Rededicate 250 until this morning, which was a great mercy because it didn't ruin my weekend, and I got to catch up on it this morning. And you wrote about the Rededicate 250 in Washington, D.C. And one clip that I did see of this Rededicate event that took place is Eric Metaxas saying, and I quote, "It's hard to believe that it would take 2 centuries for the Lord to raise up a great man to bring that ballroom finally to stand where it needs to stand." And I know, Andrew, Christians have been praying for centuries for this ballroom. What was that?
So this is a weird thing. And look, I have long sort of struggled to figure out exactly how to cover sort of the phenomenon of sort of MAGA Christianity, which is this sort of social and political force. Yeah. And like I'm a Christian myself. I could not go to cover this thing yesterday because not only did I have church in the morning, but I had a voters meeting at church in the afternoon. So we had to spend a lot of time talking about, how we're going to raise money to fix the roof of our church and things like that. So I couldn't go, but I did cover it later. I caught up online. The basic salient fact here, I think, is that, when we think of sort of the pageantry that these guys put on that's sort of Christian coded, it really is not like it sort of used to be where you had kind of the Republican Party seeing out there in the world that there was this vast mass of sort of conservative Christians and that the Republican Party needed to come to these people and court them and knew that they had kind of their own issues that they really cared about and that the Republican Party was going to need to sort of attack different parts of that in order to go and win their vote. This is sort of a different thing. This is for the vast sort of majority of what we think of as kind of the evangelical Republican base. These are people who are, residually Christian. They maybe grew up Christian and they think of themselves as Christian as part of their identity, but they might not be church going. They might not really be practicing Christians in any significant way. And more and more, a lot of these people, what is sort of core to their identity is this sort of combination of things. It's Christian inflected, but then it's all these political things. It's MAGA as sort of cultural identity. So it's all these things sort of mixed together. And so when we see these events, first of all, they're targeted at those people, and second of all, there's this sense that it's not like they're courting those people. It's not like the president and the vice president and the secretary of state and the secretary of defense and the speaker of the House are all going to this group because they're like, we need to win these votes. They know that they have these people, right? This is a MAGA event, And so it's more about sort of shoring that up, right? It's about, okay, everybody else who's not kind of a part of the base, who is keyed off of the cost of living or keyed off of, the war in Iran, a lot of those people were losing. But we still have this core of a core that is sort of willing to set these things aside because they see politics as this real kind of cataclysmic apocalyptic struggle between angels and demons. We're telling them we're on the side of the angels and that the other guys are on the side of the demons. And that still has quite a bit of power for this base. And that's basically what we saw on display yesterday.
I'll just say this too quickly because, Andrew, I too am a Christian, and it's really upsetting to see this, like I said, bastardization of Christian language, but then actual, what you could actually call heresy. I mean, there was a 22-foot golden statue of Donald Trump that was revealed at his Doral golf course, and you had a pastor there saying, well, first and foremost, this is definitely not a golden calf, which raises more questions than it answers.
Yeah, if you'll let me roll back the clock just a little bit, because I covered this a lot during the 2024 presidential primary when I went to Iowa and did the caucuses there. Obviously, evangelicals on the Republican side are a big voting bloc in Iowa. They've always been very important to the presidential primaries, and there are a few evangelical leaders there, kind of grassroots political type leaders who are evangelicals. This guy named Bob Vander Plaats is one of them, and they have always exercised quite a lot of sway over the Republican primary process in Iowa, or I should say the caucus process in Iowa. And that has been kind of one of the big lessons of 2024 is that these guys' grip over the process has been completely broken because what we mean when we talk about evangelical voters is just so different. It's not these networked people who are plugged into all these little communities and these little small towns and these little churches, and that they pay attention to what their church leaders have to say, and those guys might pay attention to what their local faith leaders have to say. It's much more just sort of this broad, undifferentiated online mass. And that makes they can kind of skip over all that, and they can jump straight to the sort of parasocial thing with Donald Trump. And when Donald Trump was campaigning in Iowa, I would go to his events. And I mean, you mentioned that as sort of the sort of, blasphemous or whatever. I mean, the videos he would play at these events and the way that they played him up as a real messianic figure that God had plucked out to send to protect and shepherd America's people. I mean, it was really, really astonishing even then. And at that point, it was pretty clear, when we talk about evangelicals, we're just not talking about the same kind of people who believe the same kind of things as we maybe used to talk about a couple decades ago.
Andrew Egger joining us on a Monday, White House correspondent and co-author of the Morning Shots newsletter for The Bulwark. Thank you so much, Andrew. Good stuff. I recommend people read your work in The Bulwark, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Always fun.
Thank you. Andrew Egger there. That's Chris Ranji. I'm Amy Mark Scores. Are you going to the reflecting pool, Ranj?
I'm going to try.
All right. We're going to get...
I've heard things.
We're going to get the deets from Chris Ranji live in Washington, D.C. on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
The final home game of the season is here, St. Louis. Your St. Louis Battlehawks hit the field Friday, May 29th at 7 p.m. against the Dallas Renegades at the Dome at America Center. It's Battlehawk Kids Day, packed with family fun, Battlehawks energy, and an Archie bobblehead giveaway while supplies last. Join Battlehawks Nation. Bring the whole crew and help close out the season the only way St. Louis knows how. Loud and proud. Caw-caw. Because caw is the law. Get tickets starting at just $18 at UFLBattlehawks.com or Ticketmaster.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage,
you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Well, now it's just plain raining downtown St. Louis. It will be rainy, breezy, cloudy today, 69 degrees right now. The low tonight is 71, so I guess we'll bump up a bit. Mostly cloudy, warm, humid, hail, and damaging winds. Weather brought to you by Artistic Decks.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX, and of course mine for a lot longer than that. And look, it's fantastic fun. You get to play along regardless of the sport, baseball, basketball, hockey. Once we get back to football season, you play along as you go and have a little bit more of that entertainment time. Well, this is your reminder that during the NBA playoffs, you want to be checking in with the FanDuel Sportsbook app every single day, because every single day during the NBA playoffs, FanDuel is serving up a happy hour. So we're talking about special drops that you don't want to miss, from things like profit boost to bonus bets and a whole lot more than that. And then you check for a new reward every single day of the NBA playoffs, and I have been taking advantage of that, so you don't miss your shot to get a little extra out of the action. So just go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get yourself started. And remember that you have to be 21 or older and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable, and restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Summer is on the way, or should I say the heat in St. Louis, it's on its way. Be here before we even know it. If you haven't had your air conditioners checked and set up and ready to go for this cooling season, or if you were told you might need a new one, or you just think this is the time of the year, this year is the time to just go ahead and replace it. Prices are down, 0% financing is available. It's still the best time to call me. Don't put it off. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600 in Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Still here, still trusted. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Well, as we noted, Chris Ranji is in Washington, D.C. He was checking out rival sports stadiums. Good to report that St. Louis is superior in Busch Stadium and Energizer Park.
It really is, man.
And now you're going to the reflecting pool.
I cannot wait to see the American flag blue concrete at the reflecting pool. However, as I have been sitting here plotting my my course going over there, I am finding out that there are tarped fencing around the entire thing. And, of course, I don't get to drive on it like the motorcade does. So I don't know if I'm going to get to see it.
Wait, why is there tarped fencing around it? Like, you're supposed to be able to walk. Everybody walks around the reflecting pool. That's what you do.
Well, it's drained right now.
Oh,
there's no water in it
because
they're still painting it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to, I'm very disappointed, but I might try to go over there anyway and take a look at it, because maybe they just don't want people to come and make fun of it, about how silly it is of an idea of all that money spent. And I know they needed to fix the bottom of the pool anyway, but the painting of it blue is just so weird. It's like, why do we have to do everything? Why does everything got to be tacky? Let's just leave things as they are, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
everything is
okay.
very, very tacky. I mean, not to, I don't know, beat a dead horse. I don't like that saying. That's too violent. Not to, but here's the thing. All I know is that there was a guy who's covering the White House who also covered the fall of Iraq. And he said the only comparison he can make to all of the gilded additions to the White House is that it kind of reminds him, or a lot reminds him, of Saddam Hussein's palace.
Okay, so
Saddam Hussein liked a lot of gold stuff.
The gold trim in the Oval Office is extraordinary. It's just so much gold.
So much gold.
It's so much gold. I wonder, when he leaves office, does he take the gold with him?
You would hope, but I think we're going to have to remove that ourselves. I think
Does he take it with him and then take it somewhere to get it smelted, and then he'll go to one of the? Don't we have an advertiser that you could buy gold or sell your gold?
Yeah.
Maybe he goes to that guy.
Maybe they could chip off all the gold, put it on the Trump trading cards, and it can be like baseball players when you get a piece of their jersey on their trading card.
Oh yeah.
You could say this was gold that was used in the White House, because we're going to have to chip off some of that gold. It's a little garish.
Yeah, why can't we just?
Not?
Can we just not?
Yeah. Okay, here's the thing. We need you to climb over the tarped barriers. I think climbing over fences.
I am not climbing over that tarp.
I don't think
They'll shoot me.
I don't think the consequences are bad if you climb over a fence in Washington, D.C. It's a tarp. It's a fence. Just climb over it and get a picture.
Mark's course. I will be shot on sight.
What?
They will consider it an attempt. He climbed the fence of the reflecting pool.
In the words of Bill Hader.
We had to.
In the words of Bill Hader, that's terrible.
Oh, no.
All right. Well, that's Chris Ranji.
I'll let you know, though.
Yeah.
I'll report back tomorrow, see what I can find.
If you were committed to the bit, you'd at least climb the fence and try to peek over.
I'm sneaking into that pool.
I think it's a good idea. Give the National Guard something to do. At any rate, that's Chris Ranji. I'm Amy. Mark Scores. More tarps off in a few minutes. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
St. Louis is a baseball town, and the Gas House Gang talks Cardinals baseball. Ackerman, Ranji, Miklas, and Claves bring informed opinions and real insight. Smart baseball talk from guys who truly know the game. And every Tuesday at noon, it's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol. Passion, knowledge, the best baseball talk in town. The Gas House Gang, weekdays at noon. We know baseball. KMOX.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Cloudy, rainy, breezy, and cooler, 69 degrees right now. There could be some thunderstorms that could bring flash flooding and localized damaging wind gusts. Tonight, mostly cloudy, warm, and humid, and maybe a thunderstorm.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Giddy up! Cardinal Cowboy for Team Renner here, America's oldest family-owned garage door company, serving both wholesale and retail markets. Free repair or replacement quotes and $100 off a new garage door.
RENNER.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about the Burn Balance Complex, which is available at supplement superstores. And it's Burn Balance Edge for the guys. It's Burn Balance Zen for the women. And what this is very simply a complete metabolism system. It's not just a simple fat burner. It's way more than that. It works with your body to get the metabolism working the way that it's supposed to. So what you notice right away, what I've noticed here in the first couple of months is your shirt will lay a little bit flatter, your pants fit a little bit looser. It's not like that as immediate, but it comes pretty fast. This is a great natural weight loss option for people that don't want prescriptions or injections. If those aren't for you, go to Supplement Superstores and check out the Burn Balance Complex. On top of getting the metabolism working, you're going to get reduced stress with lower cortisol levels. You're going to have appetite control and craving control, all-day focused energy without the jitters that come with energy drinks. And look, it's not magic. You got to do things the right way, but the Burn Balance Complex makes it so much easier. So get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex for you right there, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
All eyes will be on Mizzou men's basketball this year, with one of the nation's top recruiting classes coming to the Zoo. You don't want to be watching from the couch while Mizzou Arena is rocking, so grab your black and gold and experience it. Go to MUTigers.com/MBBTIX to get your name on the season ticket request list for next season. Don't wait. Visit MUTigers.com/MBBTIX today. MIZ.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Drury Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Drury Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call me, Lance Drury in St. Louis, at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Get inside your Redbirds and the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX. Now, the question of the week with Chris and Amy. And remember, you can always vote in the X poll at Chris Amy KMOX.
That's right. You can always vote on Twitter at Chris Amy KMOX. Our question of the week, and this one will, of course, has to do with the Tarps Off crew, and that is, how can how can the Cardinals keep the Tarps Off momentum going? Because those boys are from Texas, and they can't come to every Cardinals game. But it was so organic. It was so much fun. The team got into it. Ollie got into it. Obviously, Ollie buying 1,000 tickets on Saturday and 1,000 tickets on Sunday to keep the momentum going. But what should Anouk and the Cardinals marketing team do? What should they do, Ranj, to keep this going? So if you go to @ChrisAmyKMOX on Twitter, you can type in your answer, what they can do. We've got a few good suggestions so far. As you mentioned, baseball is every day, Ranj. So we had a texter who suggested, what about Friday, Saturday Tarps Off or weekend Tarps Off? That would help people narrow it down a bit to make an event.
No,
It
you're
does.
not half-assing Tarps Off.
I think
We
you
either
got to do it on the weekends.
No, we either do it or we don't do it. None of this half-assed nonsense.
What about a Tarps Off cam where the camera focuses on you? This was from one of your buddies. And you got to take your shirt off or the camera will not stop focusing on you. Feels a little mean.
Yeah,
There might be
think
some people who really don't want to take off their shirt in front of tens of thousands of people.
Well, you know how they guilt you with the kiss cam? They find you and your
Yeah.
lady or
I bet
your
most
man.
people would be willing to kiss the stranger next to them than they would take their shirt off on camera.
Yeah, probably. But I think you just keep it on somebody until that shirt comes off, and then, you guilt everybody into doing it. So not only is going to the ballpark potentially a lot of fun,
Yeah.
but it is also a potential source of extreme anxiety. Like,
Well,
oh, please don't put me on camera.
What
Please
if
don't put me on
it
camera.
is? What if, as an unexpected and unintended consequence of Tarps Off and the pressure of taking your shirt off at the ball game, St. Louis suddenly gets super in shape? Suddenly, we're a city. We're a city with 6-pack abs.
Wait, are we a fat city?
Yeah.
We are?
Yeah.
What's the number?
But
What are we-
for the most part, I mean, we're a fat country, right? We've got an obesity issue. Like 48% of Americans.
I'm talking about St. Louis specifically.
I think we are, because I think the worst numbers tend to be down south, I think, and we've got some of those numbers too. I think
Okay.
like when you look at the obesity rates, but I'm pretty sure St. Louis is not doing great. Missouri is not doing great. I said St. Louis. I'm not sure about St. Louis.
Let me just say this. I'm not sure. I am not here to give away the Cardinals money or their tickets. But I do think that there would be some, if we have a tarps off only section, okay, where if you sit in that section, you've got to go tarp off at some point while you're at the game. All right, that's your agreement. It's kind of like being in the supporter section at Energizer Park. If you're in the supporter section, you got to stand the whole time. That's the agreement. So it's one of these things where you can't go to that section. You can't buy a ticket there unless you're willing to take off your shirt.
I think there's a legal issue with that.
Well, maybe give a ticket deal. No, well, okay. You can't say you can't take. You got to take your shirt off.
You want to come
You
to a
can
Cardinal
say,
game? Take
you
off
know,
your clothes, buddy.
But in the fine print, it just says, if you buy this ticket, you know what you have to do. You know?
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
You want
You've
tickets?
got to take your shirt off.
How bad do you want these tickets?
Yeah, well, it doesn't sound like you want them bad enough.
Yeah. Big Blonde Dan had an idea because it's
right.
kind of what I said. You could do those creepy shirts where you only see in the Vacation Beach shop where it looks like the shirt is off, and you can put a big Fredbird tattoo on the shirt printed skin.
Yeah.
That could
Okay.
be a giveaway. The
You could
naked
do the-
chest shirt giveaway.
You could do the tan-colored bodysuit if you want.
I
Like,
know
didn't
somebody
Chris-
who did that.
Oh, for real?
Okay, so they were in a very rural town somewhere, I don't know, Kansas or Arkansas, for a wedding, and they thought it would be hilarious to put on the full body tan bodysuit and go shopping at Walmart. And
not bad.
they got a lot of looks, and eventually the cops started walking towards them, and I think they had to run out.
That's
People
not
thought
bad.
they were naked.
That's not bad.
Naked.
See, I think you can get away with it. We've got to do it might just end up being on the fan base. People are just going to have to find a way to keep it going. Offer a ticket deal for those sections. You know, maybe that's how you do it. You can attract the other college, the colleges in the area.
I think you got to lean into the student section element. It felt like we had a student section. Every event should have a student section. They're young. They're enthusiastic. They just want to have fun. They're zany. We need that.
I totally agree
I think we need a student section at most events. You could have them at the Board of Aldermen meetings. You could have a student section at the symphony, but we definitely need it at the baseball game.
How about the Muni?
Yep. But
A Muni student section?
how do you get, and this is where I think the Cardinals could help. I agree with you. It needs to be on the fan to keep it semi-organic. But the Cardinals could help by leaning into, like you said, specials or a student section. Who would be most likely to go to a place and take off their shirt and get free food? Young people.
Well, yes, young people definitely would. Or there are a couple of establishments right on the other side of the river in Illinois. You can go to Sauget. There are probably a lot of people there willing to do it.
Yeah, but you have to pay. Don't they get paid?
They get paid very well.
Yeah.
That's my understanding.
We got to do this for free here.
Yeah, okay, we got to do it for free. I feel like colleges, find some other, like Cameron Indoor Arena where Duke plays. You know how those folks are always jumping up and down. I think you're right. I think you're onto something with the college aspect.
Because what if and also, what if this was great publicity for this club baseball team. But let's say Lindenwood. Let's say the Lindenwood hockey team, or the Lindenwood soccer team, or SLU, or whatever it is. Get these local teams to say, hey, we're going to the tarps off section. It's our responsibility to keep it going. And then you could have, American Legion, a baseball team. Just have each game a team commits and says, hey, we're going to be the team to get this going. So you have that dedicated group of zany young people willing to go tarps off.
Well, I am very curious to see what happens tomorrow night at Busch when the Pittsburgh Pirates are in town. A 6:45 first pitch. Are we going to carry this new tradition on? Are we going? it's almost like here's what I don't want to have happen. You ever watch Kitchen Nightmares?
Yep.
Okay.
Not that specifically.
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay.
I've seen
Kitchen
Bar
Nightmares.
Rescue.
Bar Rescue with John Taffer.
Mm-hmm.
There's a struggling business. Not that the Cardinals were a struggling business, but let's just say that for this argument they are. And John Taffer comes into the bar and he yells at a few people. He's like, shut it down. He does that. And then he tells them everything they need to do to be successful moving forward. Okay? Let's pretend the Stephen F. Austin baseball team was John Taffer. Came in and said, we're going to show you how to have a lively ballpark. Here's what you do. Now it's on us because the failure rate for a lot of these places is pretty high.
Yep.
Once John Taffer leaves, they go right back to their old ways, and then before you know it, the business closes down. So we need to not let that happen. Don't let this be John Taffer coming in for a couple of days. We got to keep the momentum going. So this is on all of us.
I agree.
This is on all of St. Louis to keep this going.
Here's an idea. Megan Eberhardt, the Cardinals team, if you're listening. Anouk, if you're listening. The next giveaway should be skin-tight, flesh-colored T-shirts.
Yeah.
And everybody puts them on.
Or
it doesn't. Stadium.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be skin tight. It could just be. How about just regular
tight?
Regular tight. We'll have to have different colors, different shades.
Yeah.
Some people are pastier than others.
Yep.
Like Matt could just use a regular white T-shirt.
White T-shirt, yeah. Translucent.
The Hanes white T-shirt. What were you going to say, Matt? You had your little hand up.
I was going to say my little hand up was because we have a voice message from Judy in St. Louis who has some ideas to bring some energy back into Busch Stadium that is not Tarps Off related, though.
So, listening to the show, and I have to say, we've gone to about 6 stadiums in the past year, and there's a lot more excitement in the ballpark because of the hipper music they're playing. Instead of an organ, they're playing a lot of fun songs in shorts and still the walk-up songs, and it energizes the crowd and younger crowd. And I'm 75 years old. I'm tired of the organ.
Oh no! Don't you get rid of the organ? This is escalating. This is escalating to a direction that, holy cow, we can't get rid of the organ.
Ernie Hayes ain't walking through that door. Come on, man. There's nothing wrong with the organ.
I don't think the organ is holding back the crowd or the Cardinals.
I'm 75. I'm so tired of this organ.
I love that call. I don't think we should get rid of the organ, but she went for it, Ranj. That was a full send phone call. She said, "Screw it, we're getting rid of the organ."
Screw the organ. Play some Drake. That's so good. I don't think the organ is the problem because they play. They play music. They play actual music, not just the walk-up songs.
Yeah.
It's not just organ all day.
Yeah, you can't organ all day.
I think we've got to put out the call to people. As much as the Cardinals can help out, they can assist keeping this going. They can be the accelerant to keep it going.
What about
it? Really is up to the fan base.
It is,
guys. We have to decide as a people that we are going to continue this tradition that was given to us. It was like aliens came from the sky. They came down, they gave us the pyramids, and they said, don't screw this up, and then they flew away.
Yeah.
Stephen F. Austin baseball came to town, showed us how to do it. Now let's do it.
And you know what else? And what's amazing? Stephen F. Austin baseball doesn't even exist. That was it was a miracle.
All in our mind.
If you Google it, nothing comes up. Wouldn't that be amazing? This is like Angels in the Outfield Part 2, but it's like Angels in Right Field.
Hey, you guys remember that baseball team? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
No, they were out in right field. They had their shirts off. You guys don't remember that?
Stephen F. Austin? You Google it, like nothing's coming up.
Are you seeing things? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
What if it was a mirage?
There's no Stephen F. Austin baseball. The Club Baseball World Series, that doesn't exist. You go to Alton, no record of it.
Yeah.
That's a real baseball miracle.
They held the World Series in Alton? Sure they did.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
whoa, really?
Yeah, whoa. All right, well, okay. I can't spill the beans, but I'm just going to say, hypothetically, if there were a Chris and Amy day at the ballpark, are we going to encourage everyone to be tarps off?
Yeah.
We have to. If we're going to have a Chris and Amy day at the ballpark and we don't lean into tarps off, we're the problem. Throw us out with the organ.
No, I don't think it's not our fault. There's only so much we can do here. If we believe in personal responsibility, this is on all of us. It's
Agency.
on you. Yeah, you have to have some agency in your actions or inaction.
Well, I think we've got
Get to the
some good
ballpark
ideas.
tomorrow. Get to the ballpark tomorrow. Try to get seats out in that section. If you can't, just take your tarp off wherever you are.
The older listeners, you just loved that caller. I'm 66 and I agree. We're not going to church. Spike it up.
You know the backlash you would get if you took away the organ from a baseball game? I mean, I think most people are on board with the organ.
I do too.
All right, I don't know, man. I think if you're under a certain age, you would not give two craps whether or not there's
These
an organ
people are
playing.
not under a certain age. They're over the organ. No, I love the
I
organ.
know, they're over it.
Listen, this is too much. We got to keep the organ. But
Did you read the comment from Robert from earlier who said he's been on GLP-1s helping with weight loss? And he says, I'd have my bingo wings flapping in the breeze, swinging around, tarps off. Hey, if you found a new body because of weight loss, feel free to take your shirt off at the ballpark.
Tarps Off, sponsored by Wegovy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know we got a break, but I got to give a shout out to JB Pritzker because people have made comments about his health, and he talked about Wegovy, and he said he's putting the gov in Wegovy. That's really good. That's funny.
That's well done.
That's well done.
Very, very good.
Chris Ranji, I'm Amy Mark. Scores a few more minutes of the Chris and Amy show before we hand it over to the Gas House gang. We want to hear from you. 314-436-7900.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
The final home game of the season is here, St. Louis. Your St. Louis Battlehawks hit the field Friday, May 29th at 7 p.m. against the Dallas Renegades at the Dome at America Center. It's Battlehawk Kids Day, packed with family fun, Battlehawks energy, and an Archie bobblehead giveaway while supplies last. Join Battlehawks Nation. Bring the whole crew and help close out the season the only way St. Louis knows how. Loud and proud. Caw-caw. Because caw is the law. Get tickets starting at just $18 at UFLBattlehawks.com or Ticketmaster.
When it comes to selling your home, the agent you choose matters more than anything. This is Debbie Monterey, and I'm with my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria, what should sellers really be looking for in an agent?
Thank you. You're going to select a realtor with a proven system, someone who knows how to price your home right, create strong demand, negotiate for top dollar, and guarantee results. I see it all the time. Last year, hundreds of homes in St. Louis came off the market unsold and needed multiple price reductions. That's what happens when the right strategy isn't in place. I do things differently. My focus is to help you sell for the most money possible, not just to list your home and hope it sells. Plus, I even guarantee to sell your home for 100% market value, or I'll pay you the difference.
Make sure you choose the right agent the first time. Call Gloria Liu, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Cards and Cubs. The rivalry returns to Busch May 29th. KMOX kicks off the weekend early when Tom Ackerman hosts a Redbird Roundtable featuring Ozzie Smith, Al Raboski, and Matt Adams Thursday, May 28th at the Beer Garden at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. We're talking ball, enjoying a cold beer, and celebrating one of baseball's best rivalries. The doors open at 4:30. The Redbird Roundtable, Thursday, May 28th. Full event details are at KMOX.com.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Get everything you need for the entire job delivered. From lumber to drywall, flooring, and fixtures, get it all delivered from the Home Depot. With same day, next day, or any day delivery. Staying on track and on time is crucial to your job. That's why it's our job to get you what you need when you need it. We deliver the supplies. You deliver the results. Brought to you by the Home Depot.
Get a $15 O'Reilly gift card after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands, or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-355-8662. 636-355-8662 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-355-8662.
Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Chris, Ranji, Amy, Mark Scores. We're brainstorming here. How do we keep the Tarps Off momentum going? Someone did appreciate the idea of a student section at the Board of Aldermen meeting. Mm-hmm. And I think, honestly, with all these arguments with Sam Page and the county council, put a student section in the county council meeting. Keep them honest. Boo, cheer, keep them honest. Put a little pressure on them.
I think we should have a student section in the studio.
I am 100% for student sections every venue.
I'm perfectly fine with it. Let's liven up this place, huh?
We've had several texts asking about ladies in the Tarps Off, and I think there's a lot of ways to do it. Yes, ladies can be in the Tarps Off. I think you could do, what we talk about, swimsuit top, sports bra, whatever, tank top. You could wear that shirt that you get at the novelty shops where it looks like you're a muscly man in a Speedo. Yeah. You could buy one of those shirts. You could wear one of those.
We can have a stadium full of it. What I want to know is, do we have the fortitude to do this as a city, as a region, as a St. Louis area, as a fan base? Can we keep this going?
I know you disagree with me on this. I think we can if we lean into Tarps Off weekends. Because I think it's harder on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and a Thursday. But I think people will buy tickets and say, man, I can't do this every day. It's too overwhelming. It's like a 3-hour podcast. Who can listen to a 3-hour podcast? You can if you're listening to the Chris and Amy show. But it's overwhelming. But if you put it in sections or chunks, like, oh, no, it's a 1-hour podcast, everyone can handle that. I think you need to do weekends.
I think if you have Tarps Off nights, that somehow will feel even more sanctioned.
Too manufactured?
Yes. You know what I mean?
But you're going to have to be so dedicated to have a Tarps Off Tuesday.
I think we can. I know that you're right when you say that legally they probably can't force people to do it. But if they put up in that section in right field, they just put up a velvet rope And it's implied that
Yeah.
you can't sit in this section unless you know what.
Yeah. What about if you tarps off, you get a free hot dog?
That's exactly what people need. More hot dogs. Right? Like, oh, you take your shirt off? Well, here you go, fatty. Here's a hot dog.
It looks like you've already had yours.
Oh, I was going to give this to you, but
We got to keep it
You might
going.
wanna wait.
So tomorrow night, the Pirates
tomorrow
are
night,
in,
it's a big night at Busch Stadium
the
tomorrow.
Pirates are in town. Is tomorrow the make it or break it night? Like, let's say there's no tarps off tomorrow night. Does that mean it's over, or can it be redeemed?
I think tomorrow is the biggest home game of the season.
Oh my gosh!
It is.
Oh my gosh!
It is.
Paul
Cardinals,
Skeens,
Pirates.
more like Paul Skins.
Okay, that's not bad.
It's pretty good.
Reaching.
That's not bad. Yeah, I mean, you've had
What about
worse.
if you did Skins greater than Schemes, and you held that sign up in right field?
That's not bad either.
Thank
Although
you.
I don't think we get to see him this week.
Oh, great! Back to the drawing board.
I think we're missing him. Yeah,
That's
but that's
dumb.
okay. That's okay though. But listen, Cardinals fans, tomorrow night is a big night for you.
Yeah.
Get it done.
We got to show up. Show up. All right, that's it for the Chris and Amy show, but the Gas House Gang is next.
Hey, I'll be there.
I'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m.
There's nothing sexier than bringing a hard-boiled egg with you wherever you go.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Wesley